Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in a moment.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in a moment.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in a moment.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in a moment.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for waiting. Your patience is appreciated. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line and we'll be right back with you.
Thanks for holding. We appreciate your time and patience. Please stay on the line, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Thank you for holding. We sincerely appreciate your patience. Please stay on the line and we'll be back in a moment.
Thank you for holding. We look forward to talking with you soon. Please hold the line, and we'll be right back with you.
Just take a lively companion wherever you go. Take a portable radio. Take a portable radio.
Now, here comes the music.
And here's a show coming at you on a Tuesday night. Hi, everybody. It's Q Talk America. You are live in Studio C with the company of Kat Carlson, Marnie Ryer, Al Perkins, and me, Clayton McKee. How are ya? Oh, look at the chat room. They're already going. Aaron is there. Amina is there.
Anant Meow Cow.
So many people, so much time. Holy crap. Thank you all for being here. I'm not sure if we're going to have an exciting show or not, but I think we're all prepared. We have things to do. What's wrong, Kat? What has happened to you? What's going on?
I'm trading headphones.
To what? To those?
Because this one's like muted and keeps like ducking in.
Well, all you have to do is touch.
I feel like it's I think it's a connection issue because I had nothing in one ear for a minute.
Well, I know, but we can just stand by.
I'm just gonna use those.
Okay.
Yeah, they're just fine.
See what happens. We'll see what happens. Who knows? For crying out loud.
The listeners will not notice one bit.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get an update from Marnie. She's got an electrical device in front of her that I think is going to get her through the entire show.
Hopefully.
My heaven's sakes.
Goodness gracious.
Heavens to Murgatroyd.
If you'll exit stage left even. Now, if you'll recall, in previous 2 years, Marnie has been fighting with an AirBook. What is it? A MacBook?
MacBook.
A MacBook that would it
Hates me.
in most cases hates you.
Yeah, it does.
Doesn't go anywhere. Doesn't do anything. And you had an appointment at the. I'm using air quotes for those of you not watching. The Genius Bar at the Apple Store, which
correct.
is really a misnomer. I mean, that's not really true. But it was so bad they had to keep it.
They did.
Yeah.
This time.
Yeah.
This time a guy comes out, looks at it, and says, "Yeah, no. I think it's a software issue. We're gonna go ahead and would you be okay if we just wipe this clean?" I said, "I'm pretty damn sure that's happened a few times."
Yeah, I feel
In that
like
very store.
In that store.
Yeah.
He goes, "Well, there aren't any notes that say it has been."
Bullshit.
And I thought, well, that's okay. It has.
Yeah.
That's really odd.
But you go ahead. So that's why I think it was more than whatever he was saying, because the fact that they've had it for, well, it was their Sunday.
Sunday, right.
And
so this
they
is
called and all. I thought it wasn't a good sign because they called today and I picked up the message a little after 5 and they said, "Well, we need to talk to you about what steps we need to take moving forward." And I thought, oh, I think that means give me your money.
Yeah.
And we would like to have you buy a new one. I don't know. I have no fucking.
Oh, so
Maybe.
you haven't talked to them again to find out what the
no,
extent of
I
this?
haven't
Okay.
had a chance to call.
Because I don't understand. That just
It was a little after 5, so yeah. I
Well,
don't
they're
know.
open till 9. Well, you're going to be
Well,
here for a
'cause
while.
I'm here, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun almost to take that call live on the air and
We
see
could.
how exactly how that
What
works.
kind of bullshit
Yeah.
they're gonna. Yeah.
By the way, Genius Bar, you're live on the air worldwide
That's
right
right.
now, so be careful what you say.
Can you help me here? Just a skosh.
Just.
But while
a
I was
skosh.
walking out, I did. You know how they have everything laid out. And
The
all
pretty
that kinda
stuff.
high,
Yeah, oh,
right?
yeah.
So I think that
Clickbait is kind of what you could call that.
correct. I think that I stumped them a little when I said, "Do you guys have a cord for an iPad? You know the 30-point ones that are
First generation.
Oh yeah. The wide,
And
right.
the guy goes, "Oh, I don't think we do. I don't think we sell those anymore." And I'm like, "How could you not?"
They have an adapter for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I did. I found this, but
Mm-hmm.
it was just very funny because he looked at me like, huh? Mm-hmm. Oh.
Because they figure you're going to get that stuff at like Target. Like if you're at the actual Apple
Yeah,
store,
but I
they're
had work
thinking
pay for it.
you're an early adopter and have long since moved on.
Yeah. No, I had work pay for it because now I need this for work.
Well, yeah.
But yeah.
So, and
I
then
don't
you
know.
have a new wireless keyboard too and mouse. Is that
Yeah,
part of
I
your?
got no, this was something that I got on
so-
Groupon.
No, wow, exciting.
Yeah, very light. And,
Okay.
so I'm going to see if I can get it to work.
Well, this is exciting.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that you'll be able to fully participate
I'm
in
hoping.
Google stuff and
Yes.
learn.
And if it isn't this keyboard, I have another. Because now I'm just drowning in keyboard.
in technology.
Technology, it's crazy.
It's everywhere.
That's right.
By the way, thank you. Hi, Mom. She's in the chat room. Joe D's in there too. Mom, acknowledging the new intro. Thank you. That's actually been prepared for a couple of weeks, but there was a technical issue that wouldn't permit me to show it, and I seem to have resolved that today. So there's that. I'm not saying other technical issues won't happen. I mean, we've clearly got one with
So many
headphones
things
with
are
you.
happening. I
There's a
might
lot.
have just been being picky, but I don't want to mess with it.
I mean,
Well,
no, you're not Al.
I did not have appropriate sound quality,
No,
and now I do.
there's a lot. There's a lot going on here.
I wanted to be able to hear my own lovely voice.
Who doesn't?
Right.
well, yes.
Who the
The
hell
dulcet tones.
Exactly.
The melodic overtures.
Ooh, now we're getting into overtures.
Wow, how about that?
You'll be no.
So what you been
Exciting.
up to?
So I went. I've been on vacation. I still have vacation brain. It's true.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Oh, that's right. You did go somewhere.
I've been gone all weekend.
She'd have home.
Yeah, I've been in the
Idaho.
picturesque
Cheeto.
fields
That's
of
right.
southeastern Idaho in the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can get a
Meow
map.
Cal, I need some help.
Yeah.
the flat part.
Okay, so we got one. Okay.
Yeah, that yellow one right up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So just in the corner. So we had a little family reunion, and so we went up to the grandparents' farm.
Nice.
And in about 17 years, literally nothing's changed. I heard 7 stories that they've been telling apparently all 17 years. Still,
Excited.
Uh-huh.
Sure.
nothing new. Some people got fatter, some people got taller, some people had kids and got married, but whatever.
Yeah.
Same.
Sure.
Same. But it was really lovely, and we got the entire kind of family tree together, minus 2 cousins, which is not bad.
Okay.
We had some 30-some people
That's not
hanging
bad.
around, which is kind of a lot. I
Yeah.
feel like, yeah.
We may have had this discussion previously on another episode of this
But who
intriguing
listens?
show. But my question is going to be this: when you have these reunions,
Yes.
is everybody already familiar with the Kat Carlson way of life? Meaning, you don't get the, grandma comes. When are you gonna get married? When
No.
are you gonna have kids?
No, no,
You
no.
know, no, that-
Yeah.
So-
to a boy.
Right, no, well, right, but I mean,
Right.
I don't
No, I
think
know
they're
what you
even
mean.
thinking
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
But
yeah.
that cat, she's going to be an old maid if she doesn't get married. In the old way of thinking, that's exactly
Right.
how they were. But
No.
everybody's on board with the
Yeah.
Kat Carlson
and,
party.
when I was a kid, there was some like teasing about, when you're gonna get a boyfriend, and that's long gone.
And you're like, I'm gonna be the boyfriend.
Right. No, but you know what? In this information age where we can easily communicate with people
Yeah.
through 100 different venues, everybody's super familiar, and we were all really bummed out because I ended up going by myself without Sharon and the kids.
Okay.
Yeah, because you couldn't.
Right, the
Work
kids
that
were with their
with-
dad,
yeah.
and Sharon. It's a whole mess.
And the kids are always a hit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
And they're a good time. And it would have been lovely to have them up there with everyone, and have my whole family together. But no, everybody's fully well aware.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
That
was,
makes
and
sense.
was bummed out.
That's nice.
And you have kids for them to play with, so they're happy.
Sure. Yeah, no, I mean, kids are always a joy until they're not, and then
Yeah.
everybody just kind of like, and then everybody just makes that face and kind of walks away and goes, "Oh, your problem." Goes,
Yeah,
"Oh,
exactly.
Right, yeah, they're not my
Well-
kids.
Yeah, so I
They're
got
always a joy when you don't have them.
yeah, and I got to do that with some of my cousins' kids. You know, I went to go stir them up a little bit and then walk away.
Sounds good. I think that works out well.
Because
Get 'em all riled
Right.
up. Yeah.
I'm still a giant child, so
What do you got against the duck? It gets the other one all riled up.
exactly, Rachel, exactly.
I like it.
Yeah, so I did that, and then I made a little detour and saw my other grandparents. So I saw nearly my entire family in one weekend.
Isn't that nice?
Both sides of the
That's
family,
nice.
yeah, because we.
You have both sets of your grandparents still?
I do. Yep.
Oh, that's
that's cool.
all of my grandparents still alive.
That's nice.
All of everybody's still alive.
Yeah.
These people just live forever
She's
and
like,
ever.
they won't die. Really? I don't know that that's what I
Not
was
that I'm
going
hoping for
but,
that, but yeah,
you know.
they just keep living.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I met my sister in Salt Lake, and we drove up to the farm, and then we were.
So that was a picture of you with your sister at the
Yes.
Idaho. That was cute.
because you should have seen the eye rolling.
Oh, God.
Because I missed the freeway one. I wanted to like pull over into the emergency lane and prop my phone on the windshield because I do that everywhere I go. I
Yeah.
take the picture at the state sign, and I wanted that one, but I wasn't paying attention, and I blew right past it. And just over the Idaho border, there's a rest area.
Mm-hmm.
So I stopped to rest.
That's right. That's right. I take my state signs,
Yeah.
pictures.
And so I
I don't
stopped
take the signs.
to rest. And I saw that there was the big welcome to Idaho sign.
Mm-hmm.
So I said to her, well, you know we're taking a picture now. And she just rolled her eyes real big. I'm like, nope, you're not getting out of it. Get up that hill.
That's
I've seen
funny.
Idaho with you.
Yeah. Older or younger?
My sister is younger. My sister's 3 years
Okay.
younger than I am.
Okay. That's great. That's
Yeah,
fun.
so we drove up, and then on Sunday night at my mother's parents' house, there was a banquet held in our honor, and they called in all the troops from that surrounding area. So I saw all of them.
Nice.
How
saw
nice.
everyone. Yeah, it was very good.
That's
It was very
great.
good. And then all day today, I just didn't want to do anything because
Okay.
my brain is still on vacation.
Yeah.
Fair
So I
point.
took 2 naps.
Nice.
Took 2 naps. Not
Two
one,
things.
2
Two
things.
things.
I needed a
Some are
morning.
naps, yeah.
There was a morning nap that was necessary,
Sure.
Sure.
and then an afternoon nap,
Completely
the
understand.
regular kind.
Completely understand.
Standard
And
issue
here I
now.
am, dear listeners. You're welcome.
Well, yes.
I agree.
End of ad.
Fair point.
Martin,
Fair point.
what'd you do? What are you doing?
Yeah, nothing.
Sunday at the Apple Store.
Are you bathing at home yet?
Nope.
Oh, wow. Unfortunately, that's a
That's
very,
a very valid
question.
Valid question. No.
Just-
Now I have to spend like upwards of $2,500 something about asbestos. I don't know.
Okay.
For the honor of bathing in asbestos?
No, for the somebody said 2,500, but then I read about it and I think it's more like 200 or 300 at least just to find out. This fucking thing after 25 years has become the money pit, but 25 years ago, not.
Huh.
So before anyone will do any of the work, contractors say that and I get that. I mean, it was built either 48 or 50.
Oh, yeah.
So anything before 70, I think, or 80, they say that they have to have an asbestos test. Of course you do. Of course you
I'm
do.
thinking,
I think that's awesome.
I think you should have taken everything out of the house and just set it on fire.
But the asbestos would have retarded the flame.
Damn it. There's never a
he
good way
had
out.
to. He just had to use
There's
it.
no way out.
It's the correct.
Oh,
That's
that
how
is-
you use that word.
It is. It's
That
the
wasn't
correct-
what I was hung up
yeah,
on, but I get where you were.
Yeah, yeah.
They used to put it in children's pajamas so that they didn't burn up when they apparently were
No.
running through fire all the time.
Running
They
away
could
from
be-
cancer.
They could
Lead.
be stuntmen.
Yeah. So we're gonna check
Oh
for
no!
lead.
Leave the kid in the room. She's wearing
Fine.
asbestos.
Yeah, they're fine.
Watch
She's a
Johnny
hoodie.
jump through this flaming hoop.
Yeah.
We've been practicing.
I always
Thanks,
wondered what those little.
asbestos.
I always wondered what those little footies were made of.
Not
I know.
today, asbestos. Not today.
today.
So we're gonna find. Well, now I have to find that out before anybody can come in and work on the house. It's exciting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
Yep, I don't mind.
You know. Well, okay. We'll go
I don't
with
mind.
Sure.
It's fine. So I think that's about it. I think.
that. You think so?
Yep,
All right. Well.
I think so. We're going to Idina Menzel this weekend. I'm excited about that.
Dina Menzel. Yeah.
Very excited about that.
And where's she playing? What venue?
Comerica. So that's exciting, and yep, I think that's about it. I feel pretty good about that.
She must be popping it up a little
good.
because the last time she was here, well, like more of a
Scottsdale
pop.
Center for the Arts, wasn't it?
No, she was at the symphony.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Playing
yep.
with the symphony, and she did like
Okay.
a little tribute to Marvin Hamlish and a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
So I think she's like playing that Frozen card. And I guess if you're in the,
Probably.
if you're in the
Why not?
If you're in the Denver area,
Okay.
Frozen is doing its out of town tryouts.
Really?
Somewhere in the Colorados. I would assume
Interesting.
Denver. So some theater group like our Phoenix Theater or the Old Globe in San Diego has got is doing Frozen.
Okay.
on-
Well, that'll
for
be
its
interesting.
Pre-Broadway run.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a friend of mine was called me yesterday to ask if I would recommend doing that. I'm like, fuck
Yes. Do that immediately.
Sure.
And then write a 12-page report, double-spaced, 10-point font,
yeah.
2-sided pages.
Yeah, right.
And send it, Kara,
Yeah, directly to me.
immediately.
How about you, fine sir? I heard you had a hell of a weekend.
I did. Just some good weather planning. Due to where Harrison lives in the mountain, while it can be cooler at night, it's quite warm in the daytime. And we knew this was the last show of our season, the 7th show. So I decided a couple months ago that, yeah, I'm going to need a hotel room for August with a pool.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because Harrison doesn't have a pool. I don't have a pool. Time for pool.
We need a pool.
Yeah. So decided to stay in Marina Del Rey because I was like, well, I want to stay in, Pasadena right there. Let's go somewhere different. So it's a little staycation for her. So we stayed at down in Marina Del Rey, very near the LAX. And I am the worst weather snob in the entire world. I am just a horrible person to travel with. If it's cloudy, I don't like your city. I don't like clouds. I don't like foggy day. I don't find it charming.
Right.
I think your
Interesting.
city's ugly and that you're just filled with garbage.
I like he's limiting it just to weather.
All because of this
Snobbish.
now this
Yeah.
is fog, right?
This is that marine layer, the fog, the mistiness, and it really does affect my mood. Like, I'm really just not a cheerful person. Like, I want the sun to be shining.
Sure.
You can have a couple
I get
clouds
it.
here and there, but I'm going to judge you on how many you bring out. You know what I mean?
I get it.
Interesting.
Like Prince, I'm going to need to know how many of those you got in your closet.
Style points for breeze.
Yeah,
like-
oh, yes. Always
okay.
welcome. I'll accept almost any temperature as long as it's sunny. So, but it was cool. It was like 70 the first night that I got there, which was just delicious, and had the door open. We got a little lost trying to find the ocean because we were in this area that's very under construction in Marina Del Rey. So we were kind of like without a
landmark.
a landmark to go with because everything was just construction. I'm like, we could be going in any direction. So finally I had to pull out the compass on the iPhone and be like, all right, let's go for west because that's probably where the ocean
That's
is.
a good
At
way to
some
find
point
the
it's going to be
ocean.
west. And then we realized that
Very good.
we had taken this very long walk through Marina Del Rey to find the beach that was really like just less than a mile away. We just had turned the wrong way and we went around the marina because it's Marina Del Rey. So we enjoyed
It's in the name.
Yeah,
there you have it.
we enjoyed the marina, which is not the beach. And then it was funny. So today was the last day, and today you woke up to like sun. There was no marine layer over that needed to burn off, and I don't got till 2 fucking o'clock for you to burn off your goddamn marine layer.
She's very busy.
Yeah, I know.
Very busy.
That happened to me a
Absolutely.
few years ago in San Diego. We were there for like 4 days, and the first all 4 days were that way, gloomy and rainy and all that bullshit. And the morning we got up to leave, fucking bright and sunshiny. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, motherfucker.
Damn it. It turns out I have no tolerance for cold anymore. And by cold,
Wait till you
I mean
get to be our age.
Yes,
by
70.
cold, I mean we were living with daytime temperatures of about 90, which was lovely, and an overnight low of about 50.
Sure. It
To
drops.
which the first
Yeah.
morning that we were there, I woke up and my parents had a fifth wheel, a camper trailer, and I mooched off of them and slept on the couch, and they leave all the windows open overnight. So to which I woke up at 5:30 in the morning and went, "What the fuck? It's winter!
Yeah.
What is wrong with
Yeah,
you
it
people?
gets
And where are all
cold.
the blankets?"
Yep.
I was frozen.
Actually called the front desk night 2 because I realized there's one thing that lets you think you're controlling the temperature, and then there's this thing over here that actually controls the temperature.
Oh, sure, yeah, they put those phony thermostats.
Yeah, phony
up there.
thermostat. But I wasn't trying to make it. I was trying to make it warmer because it was so fucking cold in the room that my head was cold. I'm like, I am not putting on a sweatshirt with like a hood to go to sleep. That's ridiculous. So the second night,
So you did it though.
no,
I did. Let me tell you, I did.
So Harrison figured out that the night that she was there, she realized that she's like, oh, the actual thing is over here, and she opened up and she's like, and here's the real thermostat. So it's like, warm that shit up and turn that constant fan off, and then I called the desk. I'm like, can you bring us blankets? So yep, in August, had to ask for a comfy blanket.
Yep.
But it was nice. Went to a show at the downtown. At the Music Center, the Amasan Theater, at the Dorothy Chandler Pavilion. So I was like the site of many Oscar telecasts.
Lovely.
Do you
And,
get a tingle when you go into someplace like that?
Yeah.
I figured you did.
Yeah, the Millennium Hotel. I think it's the Millennium Hotel on right on that street too. The Biltmore Millennium, I think it is. That held the first couple Oscars, and that banquet room is pretty much intact. The Dorothy Chandler hasn't changed much since they hosted it. We go to our season tickets are for the Pantages, where it was for many years. The Oscars were there for many years. So it's always fun to realize that you're sitting in a seat that. We have a nice balcony seat, so no Oscar winners were up there. They didn't make people walk down that
Maybe
kind of flight.
future.
But families of who knows?
People who knew
Michael
people.
Douglas as a child might have sat up there.
Perhaps.
Oh, yeah, because he would not sit with mom and dad down in the expensive seats.
Yeah, so it was fun.
So, what did you go see?
So met up with a couple friends who were funny.
Nice
They had
baiting, I like that.
I'm interviewing.
Who, despite the heat of the day on Saturday, were in like jackets, and there was no restaurant inside to pre-game it. Just watching somebody melt from the heat was just funny. Like you're in a long sleeve shirt and a jacket, and it's easily 100 and some degrees out here.
That's not cute.
But we were drinking rosé. But The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, which is playing in LA, and then it's going to tour because it's already been here. So the tour continues pretty much straight from Broadway. I think it closed in January on Broadway.
Can you give me the premise of just
It
a
was
small,
amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
It's a story about a boy with some social issues who discovers a dead dog in the nighttime. And despite his father's wishes, he decides he's going to solve the curious incident of the dog in the nighttime.
Don't want to give any spoilers.
And looking at like the spectrum, like autism kind of
okay.
thing. So the way
we are on the spectrum.
Yeah, the way that the mind works and the way that they present how his mind works
is really genius and a physically demanding role. That boy, man, young person seriously ran his ass off for a 2-hour. It was a long show. It was like a 2-hour and 30-minute show, and it's just like how to convey space within just this one piece of universe that you have to get dimensions.
That was
to
my
it in
favorite
the
part.
train.
Was how they portrayed all the different pieces.
Yeah, all the different
with
pieces.
just the lights.
I
and
think
the
you would
blocks.
love it. With it's not a musical. It's not. It's.
Oh, I do enjoy the musicals.
No. I'm just saying so that you don't get set up like, oh, I'm going to Gamage and I'm going to see a musical.
Yeah,
like, no, it's a.
You're going to follow a story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and through the workings of this kid, man, you know what I mean? He's playing a 15-year-old, but he's clearly older because he graduated from Juilliard. But there was one part where they're trying to like just kind of get across like how far he was walking and how like out of his safety zone he was, and the choreography had him like balancing on their shoulders and walking.
It was amazing.
Parallel to like he was walking along the wall, but it was painted like a sidewalk. So you were watching him like casually walk along, but he was really being held on the sides and his feet were on the walls and they were in dark enough clothes that sometimes you would forget that they were there. Like that it wasn't done with like ropes or tricks but it was just very, very interesting, very well done. And one of those shows where like you're drained, he's drained. I mean, that kid was in a flop sweat from how much work he did.
Yeah.
And very moving, surprising twists and turns. I'm curious to see how much further
that travel segment though is my favorite with
Yeah.
the train and the walking and all the people like that. That section is totally my favorite.
Yeah, and that was just pure theater because it really was not needed for the storytelling or
Oh,
anything.
no, but it
was
needs to
just
be in there. Yeah.
the depth of that character. And then in the evening part of the so I ditched them and then
Because
dashed
they were all sweaty and puddly and in their suits.
dashed
Gross.
over to the Hollywood.
Exactly.
Got to sit in the Starbucks across from the theater for the 2-show day, and that was kind of fun because I saw all the people, the stage hands, the crew people, a couple members of the cast come in from Hamilton, and like grab their coffee, grab their protein thing. And I was laughing that you could tell that some people were like stage crew because they were in kind of cute black outfits, but with really comfortable shoes.
Oh, sure.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're kind of dressed for an evening out, but you're in, like, not with those.
Right.
And got to see Hamilton and saw 2 understudies, which I was very disappointed with at first. But then they were both really good. Both of their names were Ryan, and they covered both roles. So Hamilton and Burr, they interchange what they play on any given night that an understudy is required. And so fucking good. Just and interesting to see another person tackle the Hamilton role, and like from what you're used to hearing on the records, like this is twice I've heard someone that I think sings better than Lin-Manuel Miranda.
I think everybody does.
Sings, yeah, he's not a strong singer. So to hear that and like, but the 3-part harmonies in that second act of Jefferson, Madison, and Burr are just goosebump inducing, spine tingling good.
So good.
It was so good, and the audience was so with them. The one thing I would say that like it was such an enthusiastic, like cannot give a standing ovation fast enough that they kind of cheated us out of a curtain call. Like everyone just walked to the front of the stage and bowed. Like they didn't bring people out so you could scream and cheer for them, but like everyone kind of lost their minds with the last note. So there was no like one polite person sitting in their chair like, well, I guess if we're all going to stand up. You know those standing ovations were like, all right.
Right.
If I want to see who's bowing, I guess I have to stand up with you motherfuckers. This crowd like leapt to their feet, and it was very good. Very good. So they have a lottery going on there that's on the app, so you don't have to wait in line at the theater. So
That's good.
I want to find out if we can do the app from here and what time they announce the winners, and if I can be in a car later that minute and get to LA.
I don't know, because they're still being really like closed-lipped about everything for Hamilton.
Yeah.
There's still first of all, Gamage and the parking debacle.
Yeah.
Yep. You're furious.
Well, you didn't see they've rescinded it?
Oh no.
Oh, wow.
Oh, the parking thing that we.
Yeah, the parking thing.
I did not.
Stand by. We're going to get more
wow.
from Kat Carlson
Breaking
right
news.
after this sip of
Breaking
water.
news.
Yeah.
As soon as I finish choking on those almonds that I inhaled in my shock. No, so they just, I think they just started announcing it either yesterday or today.
Okay.
Yeah. Frequent listeners will remember last week that I was outraged at the $10 per show that I was going to have to pay to park.
Outraged.
Well, I am vindicated and outraged no more because they have rescinded this plan due to much public outrage
Okay.
and will reevaluate their plan and announce it along with their announcement of next season.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, all right. So give people a little time to
Well, because
digest.
it was shitty. It was
Yeah,
2
it's
weeks
true.
before the first show of the season.
Right.
Oh, by the way,
If you're going into a full season and you know it, boom, as opposed to, guess
Right.
what, mid-season,
wrap it in.
I'm going to fuck you over.
Yep.
Or
Yeah.
whatever.
So that was
People don't know PR.
So it was
Anyway.
nice, and the beach was lovely. We
It always
walked
is.
around Venice. And then Marina Del Rey sits.
Oh my God, Tomo.
Hello, Tom.
Hi, Tomo, in the
Hi,
chat room.
Tomo.
Where in the hell have you been?
Oh, that's fantastic.
We were just talking about you a couple weeks
Not
ago.
that it isn't fantastic to see everyone else. I haven't said
Right,
hello
but we haven't
yet.
seen
Hi,
Tomo.
guys.
God.
Hi,
Basically,
Tomo.
everyone else can suck
Oh,
it. Hi,
that's
Tom.
Has it been? It's been like over a year.
It has.
At least.
Are you mad about the Pop-Tarts?
We ate
Really?
them.
You had to fucking bring up the goddamn Pop-Tarts.
You tried. You really tried.
Oh, we
so
shipped
hard.
them and they
I
came
know.
back, but
But Tomo, we hope you're doing well.
welcome, Tomo.
Welcome.
My gosh.
Fabulous.
Yeah, wow.
That's great. Oh, and also I just want to. And Nan told me I should just level the house and start over.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to.
3 out of 4
you,
listeners agree.
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know, Anant, that might happen.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
Not over yet.
Don't say
getting
anything further
witnesses and
over
close
the
together.
air.
Exactly. I'm just saying I'm not going to burn it.
Right.
Well,
exactly.
no.
Very
no.
clear to mention
It
that.
could happen by accident
well,
of construction.
asbestos can explode.
Oh.
I don't know if that's true,
Oh.
but we're going to find out. No?
We're going to find out.
I mean, that
Next
came out
time
right.
on Unsolved Mysteries, does asbestos explode? Tune in.
Thanks for listening, Tomo. That's
just,
awesome.
Just to finish it out, and then I'll pass
Yeah,
it to you.
please.
You.
Sorry,
Peter
I didn't mean to, I didn't mean to
Um,
break in.
No. The canals, walking along the canals in Venice Beach is so lovely. And in case the last time you were in Venice is when I was, and you were like, okay, people, time to torch this city and try again. They've
Torched it and tried again.
Yeah, there's really been some some nice cleanup. There's some stuff going in. It's not just your crack den with litter. No, that is
Was it cloudy the last time you were there?
No. Venice Beach is rough. Venice Beach is a whole different animal than the rest of them.
What I want you to do is I want somebody to hire you as some sort of a tourism critic. Because I think just to read your critiques of places, pro or con, will be fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, there's not anybody in Venice Beach that didn't have that same thought. Like, you know what I mean? It's like 3 pot shops in between like 5 crack dealers.
Tear it down, try again.
But they really have done it. And then if you go back, the houses, and so you have like homeless people and squalor and litter like on the boardwalk here, and then you just go on the other side of the house, and you're on the canals. You just like it's 1 street away. They're backed up to that. Is, you know, people that like screaming crazy people on the beach. Like the homeless problem there is it's LA, so it's significant.
Round them up and ship them somewhere.
But you just go 1 block over, and all of a sudden you're in this lovely neighborhood.
Solution.
But I said, like, clearly the people with all these money are like, all right, we got to do something about this beach and get it cleaned up. And so the businesses have changed out, and there's some stuff coming in there. So you're not always kind of like hiding your wallet and kind of running screaming for your life for Santa Monica.
Right.
But you can literally feel it when you take the step from Venice into Santa Monica. Like the air changes. It is the most drastic thing of like the homeless. It's like they have shock collars on. They're just not allowed to cross over.
You're terrible.
No, you have to go like clearly you haven't been to Venice Beach in a while. Venice
It's a
Beach
weird
is a
beach
very,
city phenomenon because
Yeah.
you get some of that same feeling when you go from like Mission Beach to Pacific Beach, and I enjoy them both. But we had the kids and we were a little closer to Pacific Beach this summer, and I was like, yeah, we belong a little farther south.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's just a different feel. It's
Yeah, 'cause
very
there's a
funny.
whole-
You
and
get
even
to
Muscle
that,
Beach has cleaned itself up.
Okay.
Like they've changed.
I don't think I've ever been there.
Yeah, have you never seen Muscle Beach?
No,
But anyway,
I
so
don't
Muscle
think
Beach
so.
is cleaned up. Now they have
I don't
this
think I've ever. Where is that?
Venice Beach. It's like the
Oh,
main.
it's on Venice. Oh,
It's like the
at
main
Venice
attraction
Beach.
of
Okay.
Venice Beach.
Okay.
So the beach got cleaned up a few years ago, and that looks nice. It's just now the boardwalk, the businesses are coming back, and the Muscle Beach looked much better.
Musclier.
No, it's just not that dirty. It was it's a
stronger.
dirty beach. If you've never been to Venice, clearly by the looks I'm
Dirty,
getting, you have not
dirty
been there.
whore.
Why not?
It was a very dirty beach. Now the beach is very clean, and the boardwalk is getting cleaned up. So that it used to be frightening. Like you wouldn't go out on Venice Beach after like 7 o'clock at night because you'd be like, I don't want to die here.
Oh.
But
Poor thing.
Again, tourism.
no, but
you are
nice.
just-
But
Again, was
no,
it
a
cloudy
compliment.
there?
No,
that
no.
was a compliment.
And I've been, and I go there a lot
Was it
because I like
cloudy?
Santa Monica so much.
Sure.
But I stay in Marina Del Rey, and in between the two is Venice.
Got it.
Okay.
Very
Because
nice.
it's really pricey to stay in Santa Monica, but Marina Del Rey is much more affordable.
Marina Del Rey is where I stayed for a while when I left after I left Train air conditioning back in the late 90s, early 2000s. I went and stayed with somebody. She was on a national tour of something. I don't even know. It was a friend of Trujillo's. And she was on some national tour, had an apartment there, and she was gone. And I stayed in the apartment I was there for weeks.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Living in Marina Del Rey, and the hell did I even do? I don't remember. I think it's when I started my. It may have been when I started my gig with. In fact, I know it is. That's when I started my gig with E Entertainment in downtown LA, and then when I worked for Disney.
Were you Ryan Seacrest?
No, sadly I was not, because if I was, I don't think I would be here in the studio with you right now doing this for free.
Yeah.
I'd be doing something for money somewhere else.
Right.
Not that I don't enjoy all of you immensely, but if I was getting paid Seacrest money,
I'd like you more. I'll help you finish that. What'd you do?
well, a couple things happened over the weekend. I got a surprise phone call from a friend on Friday night that I knew had been planning a departure, was going to move, and to my surprise and his surprise, he gave his notice to his job of 8 years, and basically the next schedule was posted, and he was no longer on the schedule, and it simply said goodbye and good luck. So he decided to leave that night or Friday night to go on to move to San Diego. Just because it's like, well, why am I going to stay here for 3 more weeks because I'm not going to make any money because
Right.
that. So that was
And who was this?
Ruben Contreras.
Oh, bye-bye.
Has moved to San Diego. He's got a job somewhere in a salon on Coronado, and then he's going to
Isn't
work
that
for
nice?
for a property management company somewhere. I guess in that same area. I don't exactly know. But it was one of those things where it happened so quickly. Like the plan was to continue to take Jeep loads of of stuff out. And then the U-Haul was the final thing. Well, when it happened so quick, those other trips those supplemental trips never happened. So there were a couple things he couldn't take care of. So he called me to go, all the cable boxes have to go back to the cable company. And there were a couple things he couldn't get. So I've brought them here to save till he comes back in a few weeks. So anyway, that was just kind of an odd thing. And then I find out another friend is leaving town. Todd Wyckoff. You remember Todd?
Oh, yeah.
Todd is moving back to his home, literally his home, with his parents in, I'm gonna say it wrong. It's Mayo, M-I-O. I think Mayo, Michigan, is where he's from. It's a very small town, but his mother is elated. She's older. I want to say she's in her 80s. Still very active parents, but they're very. He was feeling that it was time to go home. So there's another one friend who's leaving.
That
so
is brand new information.
I know.
I just saw him yesterday.
yeah, well,
Saw
he's
him yesterday.
he. I assume by
I
now.
know, and he was absent last week from Show Tunes
From
night.
the
I
show
was
tunes.
expecting
Well,
to
because he
see
was
him.
at a pageant in Denver.
Right. And now that is his last go around with that pageant system because he'll be out of that.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, he's kind of forsaken a bunch of stuff because
Good night, Amina.
he's decided that, and I 100% agree with him. With the age of his parents, he's like, I've been out here however many years. I forget how many years he's been out here, but he's like, I feel like the time to go is now because if not, something happens, I'm going to feel horrible.
Right.
Sure.
So he's like, maybe I'll be there 9 months, maybe I'll be there 5 years. I don't know. He goes, but I just feel I need to go. So he's going to go, which I thought, good for him. I think that's fantastic that he's going to go do that. So that was there's part of that. The other thing I forgot last week, I had printed this and left it laying on my other desk, and I didn't get to read this. We got an email from a gentleman. His name is Paul Longstaff. He is British.
Hi, Paul.
I don't know exactly where he lives.
Wants to band.
But wants to band. Sent us an email. Says, love the show. I found your radio station totally by accident. I love the fact that you all chat just as the rest of us do. Shame British radio don't have the same attitude to broadcasting as you. My dear, nobody has the same attitude to broadcasting as we do. He says,
Literally no
keep
one.
up the good work. Paul. So Paul Longstaff, if you're out there, hello. Thank you for listening.
Hi, Paul.
Feel free to email us.
Welcome.
Email us at any time. If you haven't found us on the old Facebooks,
great.
feel free to do that too. Because I just think that's cool. I think
And Cheerio.
is it? Yeah, cheerio.
Yeah.
Chip chip cheerio.
Chip.
Other stuff.
Something.
I don't recall. Have we had? Because I know you guys remember better than I do. Have we had any from the UK?
Yes. Nasir Yusuf.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Yep,
I remember
yep,
that name now that you
yep.
say it.
And there was one or two other ones that used to, but I didn't write them down. At least one other one.
From
The occasional
regularly?
red coat.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna guess Paul
Yeah,
doesn't listen live because of the day. Well, it's because it's night here. It'll be day. Well, he's probably busy. I'm gonna guess he's probably busy doing something.
Yeah. It's too.
And I'm just curious
Well played,
if
Jenny.
you hear this, Paul, by any chance, are you part of the crew that's restoring Big Ben? I just was curious.
Yeah.
Wondering, because
very
somebody's doing
exciting.
it. Maybe he
Yeah.
knows
No.
because they just silenced
Well,
that for
someone
free.
must know someone.
Right, I'm thinking.
Greenwich
somebody.
Mean Time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they silenced the old bells in there
Yeah.
for 4 years, they said, with an exception of a few
Hell
things.
of a restoration. It's a lot like my house.
Yeah. Same risk of asbestos.
You
wonder
know,
how
I
that-
bet they don't have a bathroom.
In the
either.
meantime, how do you know when to drink your tea?
Yeah.
Somebody just
Good
they've
call.
actually employed town criers again to just
Shut up,
run
did
around.
they really?
No, I don't.
That would be amazing.
They,
Yeah,
put-
what?
they run them
Tea
to the,
time,
they
tea
run them
time,
to the
tea
top of
time,
the wheel
tea
and they just yell.
Drink your
That seems
goddamn
legit
tea.
to me.
It's
Seems
taller
legit to
than
me.
Big Ben, so they
I've
should
never been to England. I don't fucking know.
get you a
Tea on the
picture.
eights.
We'll get you a picture.
I've seen Mary Poppins and Harry Potter. That's shit that I know about London. That's it.
That's funny.
Begins here, ends there. As far as I can, they all fly.
Seriously, that's really funny. Is it
Whole fucking nation flies around.
It's true.
Chip,
Peter Pan?
Yeah, see?
cherry.
Every example I have. Tuberculosis.
my
Yeah,
marbles.
tuberculosis and flying.
And Bob's your uncle.
And Bob's your uncle.
Back to you, Bob.
There you go.
Back to you, fuckers. And Bob's your
that's
uncle.
good.
I forgot about that's very funny. All right, kids. Our next segment goes something like this.
Obsession. Are you obsessed? Is it keeping you up at night? Do you find yourself constantly making references only to be met with blank stares? Obsession. This segment is for you. Obsession. Whether it's musicals, mowers, Motown, Subarus, or Sondheim, it's time to share your obsession. Obsession. With the show with Clayton McKee.
I'll tell you, Kat, what I want to do with that. I just found that image to put up there for that. But what I want to do, and because of how you recorded it, I really want to do a video of you in black and white.
Yes.
And have you cross-fading
Like the
over
old
yourself.
Cologne commercials?
Like, just like the old
Yes.
commercial.
Yes.
I think would be
We
funny.
can absolutely do that.
I thought of that the other day, and I just started laughing, just visioning you doing it.
I will work on that in my closet next week.
Because some of it, okay.
That's where I do all the production now. It worked out so well for that little
Would
clip.
you like some gloves? But I think part of it needs to be, shot with you with no hat,
Right.
and then you with a hat.
Oh my gosh.
I just think
Like
that would
she's
be
playing
fun.
it.
two roles.
Yeah, oh, she is.
Two things.
Yeah.
It's like the twins.
I like it.
Orphan Black's not over.
Anant has an obsession as well, so we're gonna have to be paying
Oh,
attention.
well,
up there.
Annette, please tell
You
us.
gotta tell us.
Tell me
Please
more.
do.
Tell me more.
Do
like,
tell.
Does he have a
Please
card?
do.
If you want to if you don't want to do it in there, message us on the Facebook.
Wella.
My obsession this week is a bit of a rant.
Oh,
Ah.
good.
Okay.
I like
I'm
rants.
grumpy lately. I don't know why.
Nothing wrong with that.
Vacation brain.
According to Amina,
And
we're
it
just gonna light a
is
fire.
false equivalency,
Oh.
just across the board. Here's a little tip for this week. Literally anyone on any of your social media or in the elevator next to you or at the park, wherever you see people, literally anyone that says the words Obama and Hurricane Katrina in the same sentence is an idiot.
Seriously.
Punch them in the throat
Yeah,
and walk
fuck
away.
you.
All right, now I got to get a new news story.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm going to still do the news story.
Still do the news story, but just false equivalencies all over the place. You cannot. I love metaphors. I do. I love a metaphor. I love an example. I love a story problem. I love an
simile.
illustration. Right. I love many ways to make a point. I do not enjoy trying to make a point with a point that doesn't have shit to do with your point.
Right. Yeah. Like Obama and Katrina.
Like Obama and Katrina. Right. Right. Get your shit.
Or I remember we talked about
together.
that with the guy that was blaming Hillary for the New York State gun law, and I'm like,
Right.
okay, I can't even go there with you because she was a U.S. senator, not a state senator, and she wasn't in office when this law was passed because it was in reaction to Newtown. So
Right.
there's nothing to your
Well,
story.
but
isn't a
Newtown is
thing.
fake.
Yeah, but so that's
True.
what I mean. So like we're so far off the mark that you just thought you had a mic drop with me, and I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, like
Except for this.
Or
Yeah.
the people that
Story's
are
not adding
like,
up.
we got to get rid of Obamacare because it sucks. The Affordable Care Act, though, I'm getting hopped up by
Right.
that.
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, because you're an idiot.
You're an idiot.
Yeah. So,
So that's my obsession. I'm
There's
seeking
one.
them out all over the place and
Okay.
losing my
Nicely
mind over
done.
them.
fair point.
There it is.
Anything but on your meter there
Yeah,
this week?
yeah. Narcissistic motherfuckers.
Sorry about that.
Yeah.
I got to get another story.
Apparently we hate that
this
name.
narcissistic motherfucker.
For real.
Case in point, you have one?
I do. The orange Cheeto. I mean, that was fantastic,
which
by the way.
part?
Which part? Well, that's just it, isn't it?
There's so
like,
many.
Every fucking day, you're like, yeah, there can't be something different tomorrow. Yet, no, there's not tomorrow, because it's just 5 minutes later. You don't even have to fucking worry about tomorrow.
Right.
Like, who pulls a Sally Field in Houston? You like me. You
like
like
me. You're
me.
like,
You
yeah,
really, really
good
like
crowd,
me.
good
Look at
crowd.
crowd.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Nope.
Madness.
And is as there's so many
And
words I
forgive
want to
me,
use.
Sally Field.
Yeah, there's so many words that I want to use here, but I just can't. Like, just
Use them. Come on.
I just can't get there. Like, there's just something about how awful I find the expression "thoughts and prayers."
Oh, I hate that. I just absolutely hate that.
Although I really hate it, it is the right thing to say.
Right.
It is the right thing for him to say, or "we're with you in spirit."
Right.
or-
I would rather him say that than
Right.
thoughts and
But-
prayers. I just hate that phrase.
I- and I have my own problem with it, but it's what they need to hear. You're in
Yeah.
Texas, like play to the home crowd.
Yeah.
Like it'll
Offer
play
them
there.
barbecue. I don't know. Just do something else.
Or thoughts and barbecue are with you. That's fine too.
Your ribs mean so
Her
much.
ribs, yeah. If she drowns, her ribs are gonna be delicious.
That's good.
But
Thoughts
it's
and
one of
ribs.
those things, like, of all of the things that you can say to that crowd,
Yeah.
thanks for coming out. They're displaced.
Yeah.
They're evacuees.
Yeah.
They have nowhere to go.
Yep. They're a captive audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you
No.
fucked hard. Like, it's just, it was one of those things where, like, there's a list of, like, 30 things
That you could possibly say.
that a trained monkey or gorilla could sign out and score the proper points. This fucktard.
Donald Trump, proof positive that not all monkeys can be trained.
And
Right, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And how rude are we being to monkeys?
Right. That's what I said.
You feel bad
That's
for the
why
monkeys.
I feel bad about any
Yeah.
analogy I draw to him, because it takes that group down. When
Yeah.
they're clearly on the rise and he has just sunk as low as he's going.
Yeah, it's so the narcissism. It's just it's too much, and the stupid fucking people that keep just following him, like trained.
Yeah.
Again, rude to
There's
the
a
monkeys.
sucker born every minute. Like,
It's kind of blowing my mind even more. Like, you know, what the fuck? How can you be like, oh my god, he's so good, he's so helpful, he's so what? We had Obama who puts out a tweet because that is the way that we converse apparently
Yeah.
anymore. And
I do like to tweet.
Well, I understand
Getting
that,
better
but
at it. I'm getting a lot better at it.
but at the same time,
Congratulations.
Well,
here
thanks.
comes Obama saying the presidential thing,
yeah, right.
where you know, kindness
well, he had
and
some
caring
practice.
and it came naturally.
Or, I mean, he could have gone like 6th grade level and noticed the black and white people working in harmony
Right,
in the waters. Like, there was.
Right.
But all we needed was like grade 1 first day gorilla training on how to do sign language for the circus, thoughts and prayers. And drop the mic and walk away. You know what I mean? We could have attacked this at a lot of different levels.
But again, stop actually dropping the mics. They're very expensive.
Very
Don't
expensive.
do
They
that.
really are.
Yeah.
That's true.
I would never, because I would just keep talking. I can't imagine the moment I thought I was done.
You never get to the drop mic
Yeah.
portion of the program.
Because I don't have one.
That's
So
funny.
Anand has turned into a woman from the late 80s to early 90s and gotten himself hooked on Home Shopping
Home
Network.
Shopping Network.
I love it.
Yes. I'd like you to. I wish we could talk to some of these people, because I'd like to know a little bit more about what got you hooked in. Was it the easy payment plan? Was it an easy bake
No,
oven?
I think he's not really watching it for real. I think he's watching like it
Just
on
like
YouTube or
watching the
something, like a
TV,
streaming.
like the infomercial. Yeah, yeah.
which would
And
make it even more frustrating because you can't buy the stuff because they've shut down that shop like 20
Sure,
years ago.
Here's
oh
what
no,
I know.
HSN,
Joan Rivers dead.
HSN's still strong. In fact, they have 2 different versions of it.
Oh.
Yeah, I realize you don't get it. Well, no, you do. You just don't go to those channels because it's not in HD. So,
That's a deal breaker.
but what cracks me up though is the QVC portion of the home shopping families of entertainment. What I love is that if you have their app, when you open the app, it goes right to live broadcast. Like
gosh.
you don't have to do shit. You just hit it and boom, you are watching whatever shit they're selling right now.
And I don't know.
We're installing the app.
I'll show you. I'll show you
No,
because
I'm
I got
installing
it.
it for myself. I want to play with this all day.
The
Look, I just opened
after
it.
2 naps, she's got
So now
time.
watch. It'll go right to.
Wait for it.
On air now. Watch and shop. Who are those? Are those compression socks?
Oh no! See, they're live. It's actually.
I know.
video.
I want to know what kind of socks they
Well,
are.
I don't know. Watch.
Already ready to buy. I
Stand
just
by.
saw the socks and I need them.
Well, hang on.
Well, I have circulation problems in my legs now.
You already know your shoe size, and we throw in there as well ankle circumference and calf size.
Oh,
I'll be damned.
I know you can't see those shoes, but they are
Oh,
gorgeous.
they're all slip-ons.
They awesome.
We're gonna need to know the size of your cankle before we ship you these socks.
I'm going to go ahead and measure it.
Elephantine elegance at its finest.
It'll hide a cream sauce.
Listen,
tears.
Listen, people. Chronically swollen ankles are no joke.
You know, if you're sitting home alone on a Saturday night or crying.
So excited! I'm about to open the app for the first time.
Fuck! It is just crap prices. Well, okay, so there was a letter. There's a couple of things.
Wait, I didn't go.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you did.
No, I
No.
just talked about her.
Yeah.
I never know when you're done.
Yeah, that's
so I'm
fair
So
sorry.
I want
Fair
push
point.
notifications.
That's too
Well,
much.
yes.
That would be.
I'm gonna go with yes. I need to plug my
much.
phone in there.
Okay, so on this thing with infomercials and everything is this new comedy on Netflix called Disjointed with Kathy Bates running a pot store, and it's by Chuck Lorre, who gave us 12 and a Half Men or whatever that fucking show's called.
2 and a Half Men.
Mom and The
Yep.
Big Bang Theory
Yep.
and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's on Netflix, and what makes it really stand out is that it's got a laugh track.
Oh yeah.
So it's just so, and it just sounds so off. And even though like I watch episodes of Frasier and
With tracks.
with tracks and Friends and Will and Grace with the laugh track, this one has a laugh track on something that just doesn't feel right.
Right.
And then it's a hard R. Like this show is a straight up R-rated show. So they get laugh tracks off of "You are crazy motherfucker." Like the language is just abhorrent. Like this language is so filthy dirty and like, but so realistic. For like Kathy Bates to be listening to some stoner go on and her and be like, "Shut the fuck up," and it's just somewhere weird, and to hear a laugh track after someone just f-bombs people, it's kind of funny. I don't know I've never heard of any of the other people in the cast, but they do infomercials. So they have infomercials about the pot. Her son is getting their
Okay.
stuff on YouTube.
Right.
So they're making commercials, and it opens with an intro, a YouTube ad introducing you to them. And they go and they're like, "Oh, we got a comment." And they're like, "What's the comment?" Like, "Why is your son black?" You know what I mean? Like that was. So it's kind of like in the know. It's a little easy. It's a very easy, light comedy, and Kathy Bates turns
Easy,
out.
light comedy.
Well, you know what I mean? Like they're not trying real hard. They've got
Right.
they're not trying. It's Chuck Lorre. So if you're on that Mom, Big Bang Theory, where we're just
I'm
gonna
in.
tell this one
Sure.
joke for 9 years and you're gonna like it, and the character Penny will
gonna
never
like it.
develop into anything.
I saw that. I saw that show coming and was like, "Yep, that's gonna be one. We're gonna watch that one."
So I had read the review, and then we went in. I watched like 3 episodes, and it's clever. They're trying to get deep with a PTSD storyline that may or may not work, but how they introduce you to the character's PTSD with like something in his mind about it, like a cartoon that what's going on in his mind was really very inventive.
Cool.
I don't know if it was effective, but it was very inventive the way that they tried. That was about the only thing innovative.
I just need to tell an aunt that I fell more in love with him because he is so excited about this toaster, and it's the cutest thing ever. I think when he's like a see-through toaster, people, I think that's fantastic.
Annette, can you possibly send me a picture of this toaster?
I know. I want to see
Yeah,
that
that
too.
would be great.
Or-
And I'm not gonna lie, wouldn't we be kind of with Jenny about the trying to keep that fucking thing clean? If you could see the inside of that toaster.
I mean,
I
you
just-
haven't seen the outside of my toaster. I feel like no.
I might not want to put anything in it.
I'm pretty confident that asbestos can't hold up to the brush fire going on in the bottom of my toaster.
That's frightening. Okay.
Like every 6 weeks, I'm like, "Oh, I'm out of bread. Let's just dump the toaster out."
Spread that on something.
Yeah.
God.
Mix it with
That's
butter.
terrible.
Yeah.
Jenny, you and I are in the same boat. Not these fuckers, but you and I are in the same
Okay,
boat.
so somebody else's obsession, and I'll make it yours.
Oh, yes.
My old roommate Tim could not watch Will and Grace because of the fingerprints on the refrigerator. It drove him
Funny, I never noticed that.
crazy, the fingerprints on the refrigerator. And now I can't watch the show without noticing all the smudges on the refrigerator. I have
I
that
won't be
same
able to
finish.
either.
So the refrigerator magnets are kind of hiding the...
They break up the monotony.
They break up
Yeah.
the fingerprints. So there was a really fun group routine on So You Think You Can Dance last night that was done with all these pieces of plexiglass that they were using to make all these different shapes and like keeping people out. And as Harrison and I were watching it, I'm like, all Tim would see was the fingerprints on that plexiglass. Every time it would catch the glare, and you'd see like the handprints all over it.
I did not know that about Tim. Now, and nor did I ever notice that about the show.
And now I'm
Ever.
going to be...
Now I'm
I'm
gonna
looking
totally-
that up right now.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yep.
In fact, I feel like there needs to be an entire episode about that.
And
now.
still no streaming deal for Will and Grace, by the way. In case you were
Well,
keeping
they're,
track.
they're holding out for a hero. Whatever.
Me too.
So a couple things I've obsessed about. Are you done? May I
Yeah.
move on? Because I'd like to ask now. Apparently, I have to ask permission. Couple things, and I posted it on the Facebooks. You may be aware that was it last Monday? Yes, last Monday there was an eclipse that came over. A lot
Came
of
over us, yeah.
came over the northern America. Well, Bonnie Tyler, who sang back in the 80s, Total Eclipse of the Heart. Maybe familiar with it, maybe not.
Turn around.
Turn around, Bright Eyes. She was on a cruise ship, and she sang the song apparently at the peak of eclipseness. However, the kid that she was with, I don't know this group, DM Daisy. I thought it was one of the
DNCE.
who are yeah, maybe. Who is that?
Yeah,
Run
that's
DMC?
no. DNCE. That's a Jonas brother.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I didn't
Aren't they
Google
Lake by the Ocean?
because
Yes.
the kid was. I wasn't mad about the Jonas brother that was standing there. But anyway, so she sang the song, and wow. First of all, she hasn't quit smoking. And some of those notes, I don't know where she has been saving them because they're really deep in there. It's like listening to Nina Blackwood from MTV try to sing.
Oh.
It was down there.
Wow.
So if you're friends with me on Facebook or not, or just go to YouTube and find her performance of that song during the eclipse, it's painful. It's something. Yeah. I figured when she walked off stage, somebody had to go oxygen, and they just gave her a mask, and they to keep
Coughed
her
up
going.
a lung.
Wow, it was.
Yeah.
Well, that was rough at the time because
Right.
yeah.
But
what was her she had one other hit. She had a 70s hit.
Hero.
No, that's
No.
80s. She had a hit in between. She had an earlier hit like
She did
Are
one
you
of
thinking Kim Carnes?
Meatloaf.
No,
Holding
it's
out
not
for a
Kim
hero,
Carnes.
Yeah, I
or
did
it's a
too.
heartache.
It's a heartache. She had
It's a
it's that
Yeah.
Rod Stewart style.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not, it's just her gravelly way of,
That's true,
of
yeah.
singing.
Well,
it's awful,
it's
but it's
awful.
her way of singing.
Right.
Rod Stewart's didn't used to be awful, but you knew it was coming.
I heard a thing
And
on
that day we waited
on
for it. It's here.
on the Sirius XM channel 80s on 8. I happened to hear, because they always give little snippets of information about the songs and they talk about things and so forth. And one of the things was that she had actually seen Meatloaf in concert. And she then found the producers and says, do for me what you do to him, but not 9 minutes long. So they shortened, and he wrote, did whatever the hell
Jim
he did.
Steinman.
And produced
Jim
and stuff.
Steinman is the producer.
So I just thought that was kind of funny that, here's what I want you to do, but can you make it a little shorter? Because I can't sing
Well, they
that
wrote,
long.
yeah, they wrote, It's All Coming Back to Me. That's why all those songs all sound like Meatloaf, is because everyone wants their Meatloaf song. So
Don't let your meatloaf, by the way.
Total Eclipse of the Heart is Jim Steinman, and it sounds just like Meatloaf. And my favorite one is Making Love Out of Nothing at All by Air
bet,
Supply,
yeah.
where it's just Jim Steinman, that bombastic style of music. And when that little fairy sings, and I can make all the stadiums rock, I just giggle like a schoolgirl. Like, you can describe Air Supply in many ways, but making all the stadiums rock,
That's
Nope.
funny.
that's not even using irony correctly. That's just theater of the absurd. But it's delightful.
It's fantastic. God, that's funny.
And on the see-through toaster one, a Nance link was just a window into a toaster oven. So, I don't know. That's not fancy. But Joe's was seriously sci-fi. So, I'm interested, but I'm more interested in the one that Joe found than the one that Anant found.
Oh.
I'll look at those in a little
Sorry.
while. So
But
continuing.
Nero had an obsession too, but he didn't tell us, I don't think.
Well, Nero, come on. Come out of the closet. Come out.
Chop chop.
One of the other.
Or she.
I had a couple other obsessions this week.
She.
So I had that one. The other one that I have been enjoying
try Nero.
immensely, in spite of the problems they're having, in spite of the public displays and how many crowds will show up to listen to the Orange Thing talk. I have enjoyed thoroughly the social shaming of one Mr. Joel Osteen.
Joel Osteen.
And I love this that Betty Bowers, I don't know if this is real or not, but Betty Bowers she posted that she got blocked by Osteen, which I just thought was funny because she's America's best Christian. She really is. But so here's my thing with this, and I actually sent a message to our friend Mark Martinez, who's from our Fox affiliate here, who has been shuttled over there to Texas to help with with news coverage.
Okay.
Because Mark's not going to help anybody in a boat. He's just going to cover it and talk about it. So
He won't help anybody on a bike. He'll help people in a boat.
Will he help people in the rain
It's-
or on a train or in a box with
so
a
what
fox?
so there's conflicting reports of what the situation was with the building. Was there water in it? Was it the fact you couldn't get to it?
Oh, sure.
There were a lot of conflicting reports, and I posted something about it, and I got ripped apart on social media
Oh.
my gosh.
about the Joel Osteen. You don't know the whole story. Why don't you do some investigation? La 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 la. This whole thing about it.
Did
By
we do
whom?
investigative journalism today?
So what I then did is I got on a couple different things. Actually, Leslie Baldwin chimed in with me, and
Yeah.
Leslie Baldwin was feeding me I don't know where the hell she was finding these
Yeah.
people.
The fact that she was feeding you was exciting.
She was
Or
feeding
terrifying.
me information about. She had live. She was feeding me links to live links
Okay.
showing the church. There was a guy that was walking around with a phone, taking
saw his
video,
feed.
Okay.
and like there are security people, and he says to the security guy, "Did you have trouble getting here?" And he goes, "No, not at all." Like they're just walking around like the sidewalks. Yes, they're wet. It's raining. I get
Sure,
it.
sure.
But there's no massive
Standing
water.
water or anything.
But then again, I saw other pictures that showed water in a building. Is it really the building? Is it an adjacent building? I don't know. One of my hard-ons this week is I want every fucking in-depth news
Yeah.
source. 2020 Dateline. I don't care who the fuck you are. Anybody. I want somebody to go to Houston and I want them to grill that freaky little slant-eyed motherfucker. And by slant-eyed, I mean he has those weird eyes that just never open. He's just weird. He's going to ask for so much.
Wow.
The city of Houston virtually gave him a sports arena because he got it for nothing. It's where the Houston Rockets used to play.
Okay.
He gets this
I
sports
didn't
arena.
realize that.
No, that's
I
what
didn't
it
realize
is.
that until I saw the news
Yeah.
story. Yeah.
So he gets, and you can imagine like America West Arena. You give it to a church, how fucking big that would be.
Yeah.
He gets this sports arena. He makes millions of dollars, and I realize he didn't make all of his money from his church. He made it from other shit. Whatever. Who fucking cares? You've got this arena, this church, and you've got this following, and you ask for money, and you ask for money, and you ask for money, and then all you do is tweet out about you're having prayers for people, and then when asked about it, you go completely radio silent and don't even come out and say, we'll open the doors, but we have to fix a couple things first before we do. Do something. Don't go radio silent and then just let this build. And then once he got shamed, TMZ was on his ass. Every social media outlet was on him. He was everywhere on Facebook and Twitter. The nightly news covered him. All the networks were on this. And then all of a sudden he shows up and, oh, he's opening his blessed doors to the people. Give me a fucking break. It just drove me crazy. So again, I might be wrong. I may be completely wrong on this. And if so, I will stand on a Ferris wheel and tell everybody I am. I don't fucking care.
Ferris wheels and hard-ons in your stories.
But
Very busy.
But
Lots of glitter.
But I want somebody who, like, I swear to God, if Mike Wallace was still alive from 60 Minutes, I would send his ass there, and I would say, nail down this little freak.
Sure.
I want security footage with date and timestamps on it. I want to know
Because
exactly.
you know that they have it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I want to know
Because
exactly.
they were looking for looters, you know what I mean? So
Sure.
they lock their doors. They do the right thing after public shaming, which there's no wrong time to do the right thing. We've already established that. But now he's going to use it as a reason why his ministries need more money because he's given back to the community.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Good call.
He's not going to
Give me a fucking break.
yeah.
Yeah. I have some issues with that too.
Yeah.
Big time. I haven't heard enough.
Don't give any money to them. Don't give any money to them. Give money to the Red Cross. Give
Yeah.
money
Oh,
to-
absolutely. No, I agree with
Find
that.
some humanitarian
Correct.
organizations to
Correct.
give your money to, and you know, somebody on my social media kind of pointed out the magnitude of just $10. Like, just give $10
Yeah.
is totally fine because if everyone not affected by the hurricane
Gave
gave
$10,
$10,
Yeah.
that'd be like $3 trillion.
Right. Yeah. And it's one of those things where go vet your sites, make sure that where you're giving money,
And
that
don't-
someone has checked it out. Like
Yes,
go through a
big time.
reputable
And
site.
don't send things like stuffed animals.
Oh my God, I
and
saw
shit
that.
they can't do it because then it just becomes a fucking storage
Yeah.
nightmare.
Yeah.
They need money to get supplies and stuff. They don't need you to send them. Well, I mean, unless they specifically make a call out, we need bed sheets.
Yeah.
That's one thing. But
Yeah.
all the stuffed animals
But
and all
always-
the crap that they were sending, they don't
Always
need
go
that.
to an organized
Yeah.
organized group. My friend Sarah in Japan does this for like the Pacific Rim. She's involved with an organization that brings aid to everyone in those regions affected by like earthquakes, volcanoes, natural disasters, tsunamis, stuff like that. And she always says like always before you decide you want to give something that they might need, go through someone who's organized, has their shit together, and find out what they actually need. And if you have that, give it. If not, give them money so they can buy it.
Well,
But
and
try to
then
get
just
with-
and shitty people, and that's the thing. Like you need to look where you're giving, not just
Right.
what, because there are already that night.
Oh yeah, there's
there
gonna be
were
be
people that
scammers.
popped up and were putting out bank accounts and we're
no.
helping and I just don't get it.
Yeah,
I-
go with an organized someone that's been vetted or recognizing what did
Absolutely.
you find on Home Shopping
Has
Network.
anyone heard a call for a Dyson Supersonic hair dryer with 3 attachments and case? Do they need those
I bet
down
he
there?
has it.
Well, do we think they need them in Houston? Because they're currently available on QVC live right now for 6 easy payments.
Of
Wait,
$19.95.
a hair dryer? How many payments do you need for a hair dryer?
Well, 6 of them.
Sounds like a hair dryer
at,
vacuum.
At $66.50, the total
Or a
QVC
Flowbee.
price for this Dyson. Now remember, it's a Dyson Supersonic
yes, it
hair
is.
dryer
with 3 attachments.
Yes.
3 attachments. It comes in 2 colors.
One of them's a hairdresser.
And a case. comes in 2 colors. Very stylish silver, and then
You're killing me.
if you're a little flashier,
Yeah.
this one's got a
Yeah,
a purple face on it.
Oh.
It's very nice.
A purple
very nice.
face?
Yeah, good.
The face
Well,
of
right here.
beauty?
No, like the part that would be facing you, right there at the end of the nozzle. It's all purpley.
Okay.
I think that this is uncomfortable.
Very
Are there
exciting.
LEDs in this? I don't know what.
Well, I don't know. It's supersonic from Dyson, so it's got to cost a lot of
I'm a
money.
little concerned with.
It's very exciting. Well, if you've heard any organizations calling for those, they're available now on QVC, so you could make your donation.
Well, that's helpful, Jan. Thank you.
I'm here for you, Paul.
That is. Oh my God! There it is. Oh, I see it now.
Oh, did you go look up the
Oh,
hair
I've
dryer?
got the website. I was going to show people the live shot of it, but I see it. The supersonic header with 3 and case.
And
you get a
case,
case
I
too.
know. The case alone makes it worth it.
It is
really,
a
'cause
$400 fucking hair dryer.
supersonic hair dryer.
Well, it says supersonic.
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 Sonic. You've got to be fucking kidding me with that. Wow.
I'm not kidding. No, it's on TV
It's
right
on.
now.
It's,
Look,
it's real. It's there.
it's supersonicking her head right now.
Oh my God. Well, I could never be a plus size model.
Yeah. Not everyone can. I
I
can.
can't.
And if I may, there's some great stuff going on in the chat room. Nero's talking about being shy and weird, and because Tomo said you can talk to yourself, if you're a bit insane.
Yeah.
If I understood, I talk to myself all the time.
Oh, hell, it's
Well,
faster.
I clearly I don't fucking care. Somebody hear me, and then I hear me, so it's good.
So there,
you know?
we just proved your point.
Yeah. No. I think and Nero says that, someone's out there listening to me silently. And I like that.
There was a video
lot.
on
That's awesome.
somebody shared a video on Facebook the other day of conversations called Conversations with Your Cat, and it's a woman in an apartment who has a cat, and she's like, she goes through the mail and she opens the mail and she's like, well, you're not going to pay these bills, are you? And she just kind of looks at the cat, and the cat's like, "Rrr," and she walks on, and she just does all these other things, like the cat's looking out the window. Or somebody you know? But and then I realized I do the same thing.
I do.
I talk to these two little furry fuckers all the time.
Not pointing at Alan Cat for
No,
those not watching.
no. Different cat.
Yeah.
Actual
A different
felines,
cat. Right,
felines
correct.
resident in this hacienda.
Yes.
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 My gosh.
Yes.
It's a lot
good,
of legal
yes, I could-
disclaimers.
There is. Speaking of legal disclaimers, let's do this, shall we? How about a headline section? Because you wanted it. Why wouldn't you? It's Q Talk America, and here we go with things that we're going to report on tonight. Right here. Oh, Trump fans are calling about a hurricane reaction.
Paper or plastic?
Oh shit. I like the color pink.
Was that Kenya?
Yeah.
Okay. Holland figures out flooding. Why can't we?
J.K. Rowling owns a fan, literally.
Yay, First Amendment.
I'll take a cold one.
Cynthia Nixon may be running for governor.
Oh.
That's exciting. These stories and all kinds of stuff coming up in just a second. We have so much going on here. Anyway, we'll be back. It's the Hour 2 coming up right here on Q Talk America.
You're listening to Q Talk America. is the Q Talk America Radio Network.
This hit that buttons to do. Hi, everybody. Once again, it's hour 2. It's Q Talk America. Thanks for being with us. This is the show. It is the 29th of August, 2017. This is show 314. You're in Studio C. Everybody in the chat room is chatting along, and there's apparently a very in-depth conversation going on with all of that.
They don't actually need us, I think.
No, they really don't.
sometimes.
They're a completely separate thing. I guess it's all right. The other thing I wanted to ask is the flags that are in the chat room. I needed to know if anybody... Do you like them? Do you care? Do you not? The reason being is the renewal for that subscription to have those flags is coming up, and I just need to know if you like them or not. If
Wait,
not,
we were paying for them all this time?
no.
and didn't have them?
I did a month. I did a month just
I
to try
see.
it out. So we'll
To
see.
test.
We'll see how this goes. So if you like them, let me know. If you don't, let me know. I just was curious to know this. It's all right. But anyway, here we go. It's headlines on Q Talk America. 12 years ago, August 29th, 2005 to be exact, Hurricane Katrina made a landfall right here in New Orleans. Well, this anniversary comes as the orange dumpster fire, number 45, is faced with destruction in Texas and Louisiana from Hurricane Harvey. So naturally, people, maybe, they love the uneducated. People are tweeting about Barack Obama's response to Katrina and comparing them to apparently what they think is a fantastic response that 45 has been doing with Harvey. There's a little problem with this, and Kat alluded to it earlier in the show. For those of you paying attention and can do math, Obama didn't become president until 4 years after Katrina. So there is none. It does not exist. There was never anything, no statement put out from President Obama about the Katrina disaster. Now, I'm not saying there wasn't some senator statement put out. He might have, because he was a senator from the great state of Illinois. So he might have put out a statement, but there was no President Obama statement about that. But they're really not clear on this whole mathematical thing or when the hell it was. So throughout Tuesday, tweets were showing up claiming that Obama's response to Katrina was terrible and that Trump is doing a much better job than Obama did with Katrina. Well, sadly, you'd have to say he's doing a much better job than Obama because Obama never got a fucking chance to do it. So Trump showing up.
However, he's doing about the same as W did,
Well,
which is not a high bar.
Tweets are also claiming that Obama was golfing during Hurricane Katrina. Now, could be.
Could maybe.
He might have been golfing in Illinois when it hit. I don't know. But again, not President Obama. So again, just to clarify, Obama was not president when Hurricane Katrina hit. The hurricane's response was bungled by the administration of Republican President G.W. Bush. At the very
Brownie.
least.
You're doing a heck of a
job, Brownie.
In fact, if this is a point of reference for you, yeah, good job, Brownie. That was one. A point of reference for you, if you don't remember, Kanye West's whole George Bush doesn't care about black people comment that he made was part of that whole debacle.
Yeah.
So that's just a little point of reference for you with regards to covering
Hurricane Katrina is the reason that I don't work in insurance anymore. I worked for the claims department of an insurance company, like a national property claims insurance company, and Hurricane Katrina broke me. Like after 6 months of mandatory overtime, and all of these people, like I got to talk to so many of those poor, helpless people that had nothing, and we couldn't give them anything, and they couldn't get any, they're just stuck. Just horribly stuck. Yeah, after 6 months of that, I was like, yep, and we're going to give bartending a shot.
And friend of the podcast, Doug Wilkie, went down with Homeland Security and worked in I just had Mobile, Alabama. I can't remember if it was Biloxi, Mississippi, or Mobile, Alabama, but one of the places that didn't get as much press, but they had widespread devastation. And I think I was actually telling Clayton this on the ride from the airport today, that I think what we're missing in this story, because it's the 4th largest city in our country, is 1/3 underwater. That Cat 4 hurricane hit that whole coast with storm surges of over 12 feet, and that was a direct hit into that, what do they call it, the Gulf Bend or whatever. Like, that's fucked up. Like, we're not even hearing what's going on from that storm
outside
surge.
of Houston proper.
Right. What that did, and the fact that it never left there either, and now it's like hitting tonight as a tropical storm.
And that was a big part of the problem when they were starting to forecast it. They said, well, the worst case scenario, which is what's happening, is that it could just kind of like bounce back and forth off the coast because every time a storm like that goes back out, I'm very, very educated about hurricanes.
I like
Yeah.
it. I like it. That's good.
Every
it gets
time
fuel.
Yeah.
every time a storm like that goes back out in the ocean, it picks up more steam and more water and more energy, and then it comes back and hits again. So the longer that it just kind of stays trapped there and stays zigzagging along the coast, the worse it gets, which is why they were able to forecast as early as they were the 50 inches of rain that they're going to get, which for reference is approximately 3 times as much rain as we get in a year.
Right. Yeah. That's what they were saying. It's crazy. And it doesn't apparently have anywhere to
It's
stop
just
'cause
going to
it's
have
so
to burn
flat.
itself out
Right.
at some
but
point.
there's
yeah.
apparently there are other, that was just something I heard that I didn't know.
Yeah.
Where
I mean,
with
we have-
other things they have,
And as,
it kind
as
of
we,
hits something
as we
and
start
can
to learn about
Right.
climate
dissipate.
change, and we realize how many of our cities
It's
are
not real.
below sea
did you also
level. And
God,
one of the
bunch
other
of
one of the
fucking
other theories
morons.
that they were talking about was the fact that because Houston has grown so much and there's so much more pavement and concrete and
Right.
so forth that it can't absorb as readily as it could, and by man making roads and bridges and all this other happy shit that they've made, they have interrupted some of the natural flow of water. So water's still trying to go where it's used to going,
Right.
and it can't because they've built up. Oh, well, just like here they've built it up everywhere. There's nowhere for if it really rains here, it has nowhere to go.
and they
Absolutely, you're
they,
right.
They built a dam in the 50s or 60s. It's the
48.
48. It's the one that they're all looking at right now, and they may have to release it.
Well, they
And
released a lot. They've released quite a bit.
But they may be out of options as to whether you destroy all the houses below it that should have never been built in a floodplain.
Sure.
Or
Or
the city.
do
and
you let-
isn't that the same as Katrina with
So with Katrina, the levees
the
broke.
lower ward? No, but I mean the lower wards or
the ninth
whatever.
ward.
The
The
ninth
ninth ward.
ward. Wasn't that like it was?
No, that wasn't controlled. That was just a breach of everything. That just everything
No,
failed
not
them.
controlled. I knew that, but like that shouldn't have necessarily been built down there.
Well, no, nothing
Same
should
kind
be
of
built
concept.
below sea
Right,
level.
Who
Exactly.
on the
builds a
sea.
city below
Exactly.
sea level?
Yeah.
Yeah. And now last week, kind of quietly and secretly, all for the infrastructure, they are removing any requirements on building in
Ananta
flood
did that.
zones. They're getting rid of restrictions. They're getting rid of any kind of permits you might need to prepare for flooding. So these houses that they're just about to flush down the toilet, almost literally, when if they do unleash this dam tonight, and the political ramifications of the person has to pull that plug, like
Right.
we're going to destroy your home now, like it's
But-
crazy.
right? But
But
with the right,
those homes, I would think, are already damn near, if not ruined.
No, they're not, because there's a dam they built underneath a dam. It's flooding above. That's the problem. It's flooding above, so they have to release
I
the
thought
dam.
that they already had a ton of water anyway.
No.
and they may.
So
So there's
they-
there's a couple of things happening here.
I don't know that it's drip dry. It's just gonna get
Right. Number one, they are going to have to make a decision of when and where to release some water because it's I don't know about the engineering of the integrity of the dam, but it's overflowing. So the water level of that reservoir, I don't remember the name of it, that's being dammed up, is already overflowing the spillway, which is the emergency thing to keep the dam from completely breaking over, right? So that's kind of what happened. Remember the dam that we were talking about in the fall in California,
Right,
with the spillway and everything, right?
Yeah.
So the spillways are designed to prevent overflow. That's what they're there for. They're called emergency spillways for this reason. When the reservoir gets too high, it's a path for the water to go to keep the people below the dam in safety and to keep the integrity of the dam. Okay. So in Houston, the way I understand it is that they're already over the spillway, and they're going to need to release some water, and so now they're making the decision of where to do that, and that will be goodbye to those homes.
Yeah.
That'll be the end of that.
Sure.
The other thing with the regulation
Terrifying.
thing,
But everybody wants to live near water. Everybody wants to live near the pretty reservoir. And
Good
like,
night, Joe.
oh, once 100 years. What do they say? Like this is a once in every 500 years event.
well,
but it's happened how many
Right.
times in the last 100 years?
But
they
yes,
said,
they're
right?
they're
Yeah.
calling it a 500-year flood right
Yeah.
now. We can debate that later.
Yeah.
The other point that I want to make on this topic is about that regulation rollback. That regulation would never have helped anything in this situation, in
Right.
this city. Like, that regulation would not help anyone in the near future because that was a going forward new construction regulation.
Right. But I think one of the things that it stopped was building these tunnels, like some of these things that go take a below sea level city and then make a roadway go underneath
like
sea
the
level
underpasses.
again. Like you can't keep digging down deeper with no way to get the water
and
without
I didn't
pumps.
read into that, but that's some people need it made clear to them that regulation, whether it was in or out, would have had nothing at all to do with the situation currently in Houston.
But this new thing with housing and housing communities should not be built.
Right.
And you know what I mean? Which is kind of what I have coming up in a story about Holland, but.
Oh.
But it is when you
very nice
see some of
shoes.
these throughways, these parkways that are now lakes, and you're like, why are there no the 7th Avenue the 10 tunnel, whatever the fuck that's called, the deck tunnel, if that's
Deck
the name,
Park.
Deck Park tunnel, like that thing, does it have pumps? Because it gets flooded out all the fucking time.
Yes, it does. It does, and so does like the Highland interchange on the 51 and all of the underbridges on the 17.
Okay.
So that's what you got to think. Like
They
you
do
have-
occasionally fail.
like-
I'm not saying they're
Yeah.
perfect, but yes,
Well,
they
we
do.
always see, what is it, 43rd Avenue or 59th Avenue, and the 10 that's always underwater.
Well,
So-
but I mean, even in Houston, there is not enough infrastructure and enough engineering available ever to withstand what they're going through now. Like
Right.
The airport is underwater.
You're right.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. When you're talking about infrastructure, and the conversation isn't like doing something about this dam in California, like doing something about the roads and bridges that are so damaged. As you watch that one part of the highway disintegrate on CNN live on TV, like that was insane. As they were reporting from it, and it was missing a crack, and in the course of the 20 minutes they were on air, the whole thing collapsed. You're like,
Is that the one where the dude on the moped doop tipped into the hole?
oh, I didn't see that part. I just
That was from China. That one.
Well, was that from China? I thought that was
The guy on the scooter was on his phone, and the sinkhole developed in front of him. He just went right into it.
bloop. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, this
It doesn't
was an overpass that was missing part, and then it was just missing a lot,
Oh my god,
and then it was just gone. Then it was like, these are two separate roads now.
that's so crazy. So much.
Can't get there from here.
No, never the twain shall meet. Marina.
Oh,
Wait,
boy.
no, it's her.
It's her. It's Kat.
Well, while we're having a little blast from the past, let's say Sarah Palin.
Oh,
Sure,
talk about a hurricane.
because she just lost a lawsuit today.
Yes.
Yay.
I just saw the headline, but I don't know what it was about.
Losing a case.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you that Sarah Palin tried to sue the New York Times for defamation after an editorial in the newspaper on mass shootings tied an ad run by her political action committee
Yeah.
to an incident where it was the baseball shooting. I lost it in my story.
Oh, I thought it was the Gabby Gifford shooting that they linked to her.
Stand by.
Oh, Gabby
Because-
Gifford's right.
You're
because
100%
she
right.
is
It was the Gifford
Because it was
shooting.
the people that voted for the health care bill that she put bullseyes on it.
Right. So, anyway, so her case has been dismissed. You're right. It was the ad run around Gabby Gifford shooting. Anyway, the judge has now dismissed the case, and he says nowhere is political journalism so free, so robust, or perhaps so rowdy as in the United States. In the exercise of that freedom, mistakes will be made, some of which will be hurtful to others. However, he found that the fact that the paper issued 2 corrections on the editorial in the hours after it was published, the judge says that such behavior much more plausibly consistent with making an unintended mistake and then correcting it than actually having malicious intent. So
The rest of us that forwarded it had malicious intent.
perhaps.
She could probably sue me
Perhaps.
for defamation.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was also noted that Sarah Palin would have actually had to sue the author
Bye, Tomo. It's good to have
of
you
the
with us.
article
Tom.
instead of the entire publication. You can't just sue the New York Times because an editorial is wrong. Mm-hmm. So she was barking up the wrong tree in the
Oh yeah,
first
because
place.
it's opinions, and it says they are the opinion of the writer, not the opinion of the paper.
Right.
Yeah. So, if I may,
Well, it'd be weird
Please.
for you not to.
in 06, there was a DNC, a Democratic National Committee, put out a map of the U.S. that had, and I can't remember what was on their map. I feel like it was bullseyes. But the
Yes,
bullseyes were on
that's exactly right.
states that they were within 2 points of winning the state in the presidential election. So it was swing states,
Right.
and it was meant for these are the people whose minds we can change. We can get them blue.
Right. It wasn't bullseyes. It was crosshairs like you would see in.
No. Hers
scope.
was
Oh, hers
crosshairs.
crosshairs.
Theirs were like dart bullseyes.
Oh, the DNC.
You could say they were target practice bullseyes.
Sure.
I didn't see that. Maybe I didn't want to. I don't know. But that was the original ad, and hers was a mock-up. But instead of having a bullseye, she had crosshairs, and she had the names and districts of the individuals who had voted for the Affordable Care Act. So the difference was one was about the goal of trying to like change the hearts and minds of a state and get them to vote
Right.
this way, and one was a crosshairs, like a call to action.
Right. Like go
for
shoot
that,
here.
Go shoot here. So it really was a very different intent. And she would not back down and be like, no, that's not how I meant that. It was the same as this map. Like, again, it was a false equivalency.
And the lawsuit came into play initially partly because the original version of the article said that she put crosshairs over the representatives' actual faces instead of just like the district.
The district,
and the name.
Yeah, so it was interesting. But I when I saw that and it came out, that shooting was in 11. Was the shooting in 11?
Yep.
January.
So it was she put that out for the election, the midterm election in 10, and then sure enough, within because that was in January, right? January of 2011.
Yes.
So it was even before they were sworn in, or maybe after they were sworn in. It was very soon after the new Congress had taken over.
Yeah.
It was just a shitty move on her part.
Yeah. Just
Of a
time. It's
shitty
just-
situation.
It's just nice to see shitty people lose.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
There it is. What is this magic stuff?
Oh boy.
And the shopping continues. And Nant, you've created something
Coastal.
horrible.
I love it.
Now on QVC, I'm going to give you updates all night. Coastal Salt and Soul Honey and Coconut Sugar Scrub and Hand Cream.
Okay, I'm in.
How many easy payments is that?
2 easy payments of $21.38.
Just in time for the
That
holidays.
price has been slashed.
No.
Slashed with the red line.
It's fantastic.
Down from the original price of $47.
Wow.
It's on sale.
Well,
Marnie.
and if it weren't. So I love the color
Cheap at
pink.
twice the price.
That's great. So I just love the color pink. And I love the performer even more.
Oh, me too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, for real.
Nice segue.
She's fantastic. So there were the MTV Video Awards were just held.
The
and now,
VMAs.
The
is their-
VMAs, as
the
they
Video
are
Music
called.
Awards.
Video Vanguard.
As the kids call them.
And she accepted the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award. Ellen DeGeneres had presented it to her. And I don't know if you guys saw any of this, but she's just...
Only the Demi Lovato part.
Duh.
Now you can see both hands.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Show me on the doll where you touched her.
Yeah.
So anyway,
So it's your
if
phone
you
that's
guys
on vibrate?
what?
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, go ahead please and Google Pink and her acceptance award. She began by saying, and she looked fantastic. Like she just always looks
does, yeah.
amazing. And she just began by it sounding a lot like Al, actually. She said, I know I don't have a lot of time, but if I may, I want to tell you a quick story. She said, recently I was driving my daughter to school, and she said to me out of the blue, Mama, she said, yes, I'm the ugliest girl I know, her daughter said to her. And she was like, boy, excuse me? And her daughter said, yeah, I look like a boy with long hair. She said, and my brain went to, oh my God, you're 6. Why? Where's this coming from? Who said this? Can I kick a 6-year-old's ass? Yeah. And I burst out laughing. I thought that was fantastic.
I'm going to need some clarification. Can you?
In case you're wondering, technically,
depends.
no.
Well, but if you're bullying my
Technically,
kid,
no.
I don't know.
All right.
No,
These are-
still no. Unless you're playing Monopoly, no.
Fair point. Okay.
Wiring mine.
So she said that she didn't say anything, that she just went home instead and made a PowerPoint presentation for her 6-year-old daughter.
No.
And in the presentation were androgynous rock stars and artists, she said, that believe their truth. There were people who are probably made fun of every day of their life and carry on and wave their flag and inspire the rest of us. She said they're artists like Michael Jackson and David Bowie and Freddie Mercury and Annie Lennox and Prince and Janis Joplin and George Michael
Janis
and Elton
Joplin
John.
didn't bathe. Like, she didn't look like...
Fair point, but she might have been made fun of for that.
Yeah.
So many artists, she says. She said her daughter's eyes glazed over, and that then Pink said to her, I really want to know why you feel this way about yourself. And her daughter repeated that I look like a boy. And Pink looked at her and said, well, what do I look like? And she said, well, you're beautiful. And she said, but when people make fun of me, that's what they use. That's what they use. I look like a boy, that I'm too masculine, that my body is too strong, that I have too many opinions. And I said to her, do you see me growing my hair long?
Are you related to Pink?
I know, right?
I didn't know that.
And she said, no, Mama. And Pink asked her kid, do you see me changing my body? And she said, no, Mama. She said, do you see me changing the way I present myself to the world? No, Mama. Do you see me selling out arenas all over the world? She said, yes, Mama. And I thought, brilliant, right? I mean, this is just... So wrapping it up, Pink added, okay, so you see, baby girl, we don't change. We take the gravel and the shell, and we make a pearl. And we help other people to change so that they can see more kinds of beauty. She said and then Pink ended her speech by speaking right to her daughter in the audience and said, and you, my darling girl, are beautiful and I love you. And I was just a mess.
Yeah, that's a beautiful
watching
message.
it, because it was, what a great message, not only to her daughter, who was sitting right there with Corey, her husband, and they look remarkably alike. But it was just really wonderful how her daughter was sitting there just, to me, and how many other little girls or little boys that just are beautiful, no matter what they want to be. And I think about her music and how when you listen to her music,
oh yeah, just play that fucking Perfect song 100 times.
Thank you.
It'll get the message through.
And have you ever seen that video?
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's where, like, I can see how she wins these things, because it really, that video, I just actually watched it again recently, a couple weeks ago for some reason. Her new song came out, which is gorgeous. And so I had YouTube just kind of playing and whatever, and it came on, and I just caught myself watching it again.
The one where her and the guy are like having the domestic violence thing, and they're painted and they're fighting. And she did that live on the VMAs one year. Like, she's just stupid talented and hot. Yeah, just hot. And I got to see her in concert like 8 or 9 years ago, and I was just like, okay, this bitch is like totes for real. Like, there's nothing in this that's canned or
well, and when
fling
she
around
did
with a ribbon and
that's just it. When she did the ropes or the whatever,
and now she can't stop. She's addicted to it.
And then, so just as a total aside, and maybe this is, well, it's my own excitement, but Aaron just did that on Sunday for the first time, and I thought, well, we're going to have to get some. But it was, I'm just saying.
So before the asbestos goes, they're reinforcing the ceiling?
I would like to state for the record, in 5 years, that's the first time she has actually ever gotten excited about or made reference to something arousing at all, period. She usually doesn't.
I'm writing it down.
That's funny.
First innuendo from
right. No, 100% on that one.
8:41 p.m.
Yeah.
August the 29th.
Funny.
Year
I
of
think
our Lord 2017.
Dear diary.
Dear diary.
Under the shadow of Trump.
I like pink.
In the year of the reverse umbrella.
Oh, that's funny.
Is that what's on sale now?
Ella.
Shut up!
Today's special value is $19.97. The reverse umbrella, which really makes the most sense, because then you're just shoving all of the water away from you instead of just closing it up so it can all drip down your fucking arm.
Right. It would have made the movie Singing in the Rain very different, though.
True.
I don't know. I
Ella.
The last time
it still
I required
opens the same way.
Yeah, the last time I required an umbrella to get through life, 3 of them died in the same
city.
In the same day.
See, and that's
Every
what this
time-
one wouldn't do, because it's designed to fold that way.
Oh yeah, I mean this one, like, one part just completely collapsed. It surrendered to that storm. It was very funny though to every time I walked back in the hotel from the 3 things I did that night. Do you need another umbrella, Mr. Perkins? Yes.
Yes,
I do.
Sir or ma'am.
Sir or ma'am. Okay, so this is an opinion piece. asking a question, and it's from, I think, someone from the Dutch. A dozen years ago, when Hurricane Katrina struck New Orleans, I was out of the country watching the retching images from Amsterdam, a city that sits almost 7 feet below sea level, and a country that has endured more months than its share of death and destruction from raging storms. Now, once again, the evening news in the Netherlands shows the suffering in the United States. The Dutch are watching stories narrated by drenched Dutch reporters in Texas.
What the hell was that?
If that was your Texas
that-
accent,
No.
it needs work.
It was Al trying to read.
Like a speech impediment.
Yeah,
for
that's
the-
what-
I thought you were trying to say Weimaraner for a minute.
I thought I might have been stroking out. But I didn't understand this sentence, that the Dutch send their correspondents to Texas, too. Like, it's not just local reporters and U.S. reporters, like people from around the world.
Right.
That's what it shocked me to read that.
Covering a tragedy. The biggest,
Yeah, I just wasn't expecting that. So the Dutch are wondering why is it Americans seem so reluctant to apply the lessons that the Netherlands has already learned. And so she offers two things. America is in denial. First, from two things. First, they deny climate change. So they're getting out of things. We're not making the right plans. We're ignoring the fact that cities are under sea level, and we need the fact that the pumps failed in New Orleans, and they're about to get rain.
Hit. Yeah.
And if it goes over 6 inches, the whole city goes. Like, you know what I mean? The pumps are failing. They're trying to get them online. They're worrying about evacuation, but they're not worrying about 50 inches of rain. That shit show stops at 7 inches. Like, so that's a little nuts.
That's a lot nuts.
That's a lot nuts because you live kind of where it rains.
Yeah.
What do I think about where you live? It rains.
Yeah. Smells like urine.
The fact that hurricanes have always occurred, they've become more destructive. Is it global warming? Is it the oceans getting warmer? Is it the rising tides? You know, like who can say where it is? Yes, and yes.
As it turns out.
So, in the other form of denial that this writer, who I'll give you the name,
It's kind of you.
I'm sorry, Frida Gaitis. I'm not making that up.
Can that
Literally,
be,
Frida, F-R-I-D-A, Gaitis, G-H-I-T-I-S.
Can that be our drinking word, Frida-gitis? Because we
Frida-gitis.
never selected a drinking word earlier. My bad. For those of you listening at home, catch up.
Spell the last name again, please.
Traditional spelling.
G-H-I-T-I-S.
Gaitis.
Like her guy is inflamed.
Frida-gitis.
Gaitis.
Gaitis.
So, okay. So the other one is psychological. We just have this way of saying that this will not happen to me, even though you're sitting in a floodplain, watching a city go underwater, and you're 1 foot lower under sea level in your house, and you decided to not get your flood insurance because it costs too much. Like we all suffer from that in one form or another. That will never happen to me. And whether that's an American thing, but according to this writer, it is. That people in other countries are kind of like more realistic. I don't know if that's true. I haven't asked that question. And then it's the fact that we don't trust our government. Like that we're like, oh, wait, so that's going to be like the government's going to help us? Because there's been all these people bad-mouthing the government, and Ronald Reagan saying the worst news you can ever hear is I'm from the government and I'm here to help. Like all that stuff. Like this is what the national government is for. And when they're talking about infrastructure, this is what they're after. So in this story, the wake-up call came in 1953 when a massive storm killed more than 1,800 people, flooding much of the country of Holland? Where the fuck is Amsterdam? I always get that all fucked
Netherlands.
up. The Netherlands.
Also known as Holland.
So immediately after they had this big storm, they established a commission to decide how to deal with the threat of more storms. A plan was enshrined into law defining what level of risk is tolerable or intolerable. So they've already said, like, once in 500 years, that's not acceptable. So their flooding thing is once in 10,000 years. Like, and they have all these, they're called Delta Works, a system of locks and flood protection systems that was dreamed up in the 50s, completed in 97, and they don't have floods. So they're 7 feet below sea level on the sea and not going under because they made, when they had an infrastructure conversation, they did something about it, which if we don't start doing it, Miami gonna be gone soon. Like, you can just start pointing at the map.
I saw a graphic, something about like the entire like middle part of the Florida Peninsula being underwater, and there being like a big South Florida island.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah.
So, like, Orlando would be gone.
Which sounds, I mean,
right? Because Orlando.
Is it that terrible?
Yeah, I mean, and then, we're walking along the canals of Venice Beach. Like, if the tide comes in, what the fuck's going to happen here? You people are swimming. Like, how's your flood insurance? Everyone thinks the tsunami's not going to happen, but you're kind of in the ring of fire.
Right.
Earthquake out in the ocean leads to a tsunami, and bada bing, there goes your $20 million house. Like,
but keep in mind that flood insurance is a government thing, and you have to be like zoned for it. You have to be in a certain area. Not everyone can get flood insurance, and then when the flood does happen to you, you're just extra fucked because there's nothing you can do about it. And some of the people in Houston are going to have that problem because some of those people were not in a floodplain and eligible for flood insurance.
Right. Yeah.
Well, the
and that's where
charming
FEMA and everybody else comes in and tries to make up for what's missing. And
the charming governor of New Jersey and action figure from You Fit Gym, Chris Christie, was on.
Why you gotta make fun of my gym?
Chris Hayes this evening on MSNBC, and it was and justifiably so because he went through. Superstorm Sandy, and they were talking specifically with regards to the support bill for the relief funds that didn't get funded because everybody in tech, a lot of people.
No, Tim.
Ted
Cruz was one that voted against it, saying it's all pork, which it wasn't all pork, and anyway, they went through this whole thing. They went through the whole thing. Well, it was kind of funny when Chris Hayes asked him with regards to the current administration denouncing the fact that it was climate change or what do you think it is? He skirted around that thing, and again, he's like, well, it doesn't really matter how it's happening, but it's happening, and we need to be prepared for it. Well, could you think a little about science, and let's figure out why it's happening? We may not be able to stop it, but we got to pay attention and get ready.
One of the things that they objected to in that bill for Sandy relief was for studying the storms and the storm's effects on the beaches. And that's what Ted Cruz and that Dick Steve King, that's what they were specifically against. They didn't want any kind of meteorological study about weather patterns in there.
Shocking.
Right. Like, what the fuck? Like, so you want to learn nothing. Like, just close your ears.
Right. Put it in the sand.
So now,
Yeah.
Cruz has had his little action jacket on the Weather Channel, and he's doing like live from the studio. Oh, have you seen him?
No.
With his baseball cap and his like.
Stop it.
Oh, he's got a different sports
Does he have,
jacket
like,
on
the
every time.
Astros and the,
I don't know.
I'll
Some
find
of
it.
it's science, but it's just awful.
So when we start doing the weather, I need a windbreaker.
But you're one day away from people questioning him about. So you were a dick to the Northeast when a storm hit
like,
there.
Wait a minute. How do you feel now that it's in your state?
Well, and they
Senator?
kept asking him about Trump and whether is the president coming and this, and are you upset that and they were trying to kind of poke the bear.
Yeah.
And he kept just going back to the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he doesn't want to, and I thought, you've got to be fucking kidding me. He
Yeah.
kept saying he doesn't want to come, and we discussed it. He doesn't want to disrupt everything that's going on here and take the focus away from
Which is what he did last year during that disaster during the election.
Correct.
When they went down
took
there.
water. And,
after
Yeah,
they
but
asked him to
they
please
said the
not
same
come.
thing about W in Katrina too. They did the same thing. That's a legit thing. Like, we don't need the motorcade and we don't need the
Absolutely.
Secret Service right now.
Yeah.
Stay the fuck away.
Sure.
Until we have time to deal with you.
But it was, for me, the way I heard it was just far more different because of that narcissistic piece, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And I agree that
Yeah.
that is keep all that away.
Right.
But that's what all I heard was like, well, look, I'm going to come in there. I'm Donald Trump.
Yeah, I'm
and-
coming in
and-
next Tuesday, whether you
Right.
like it or not.
Right, exactly.
And
Here's what Al was talking about.
I love.
Here's dumbass.
I mean,
my God.
And he kept changing the jacket and the hat. But I have this little game that I play with
I
myself.
love an ant. Why is your government so dumb?
Well, an ant, it would take an entire show for me to explain it to
Yeah.
you.
I like to play a little game called Good Politics, Bad Optics. And one of the things was W flying over Katrina.
Yes.
Good politics, stay out of there.
Way.
Let somebody land a plane that has aid that can do something.
Right.
Really bad optics to have that be your response. Like land somewhere nearby. Offer something. That's another one of those things. All you had to do was thoughts and prayers. Like all you had to do was first grade level it. But it really wasn't. It really destroyed his reputation.
He was already pretty unpopular by then, though.
But
You know what I
that
mean?
was what brought him down. That's what kept him from ever campaigning
Oh.
in the South. Like, he couldn't campaign in 08 for McCain because he couldn't go near the South because they blamed him for
FEMA and all that.
Sure,
so
because
much
there were
stuff.
so many. There were
And
so
I
many
heard, was there
missteps
really 1,800 deaths? Was that right from Katrina?
Oh, that sounds like
Yeah.
it would be right.
I had
That honestly doesn't sound like enough.
I was gonna say that doesn't.
I heard that number today, and I guess I just hadn't thought about it in a while. But like
No, but I would think
My
I
jaw
would think
hit the
more.
floor.
God, that was something.
Well,
to
Harvey
watch.
currently sits at 18 documented deaths at this point, according to what I
Yeah,
just.
the knower of all things, Google.
Oh, well.
I thought you were
says,
referring to yourself.
1,833.
That I had no idea.
Oh yeah.
Or I mean, I had just lost that piece of information. That's
Well, the parts you didn't see on the evening news were the people that drowned because of the flooding
Right.
and were floating down the street.
oh
and,
no
you
no
know
no
what I mean?
that
Like,
that I
horrible,
knew,
horrible
but
things.
like I guess I just had like.
A lot of those deaths were due to the difficulties they had
But you know how
evacuating.
your mind kind of forgets like horrors, so you don't like relive them. Like
Nope,
when
won't
I heard
forget it.
that today, it came. I was like, "What the
Yeah.
fuck? 1,800 people,
Yeah.
and the pumps don't work. Like seriously? Like how many people have to die before you do something about the levees? Like what's the number? Oh my god.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
whose turn is it?
Mine.
Oh, go.
Well, you all know who J.K. Rowling is, don't you? The author of
Yeah.
the
Harry Potter.
I was gonna say Pirates of Penzance, completely wrong.
Super not
Harry
that,
Potter. It was
not that.
It was the P
She
that I was
nearly
gonna.
pissed her pants.
Well, she is
the Pirates of Penzance.
J.K. Rowling.
pretty woman.
Her writing accomplishments, her tweeting compliments, really aren't far behind her writing. The creator of the Harry Potter series is well known for posting positive, progressive messages on Twitter, but when a right-wing internet troll tries to come at her, she savagely owns them like none other. 2 years ago, Rowling tweeted this when, in support of refugees coming to Europe. She noted, if you can't imagine yourself in one of those boats, you have something missing. They're dying for a life worth living. And that's what, hashtag refugees welcome. Well, the tweet picked up enough traction for Rowling to notice. So she tweeted this back, or wait, excuse me, my bad. She was then trolled by this guy. Let me show you. Boom. Yes, this one, where he said the millionaire on her gold iPhone in her mansion. Well, that retweeting picked up some traction. She noticed it. So she tweeted back at him, and most people assumed that she was just kind of screwing with him. She wasn't, oh wait, where did it go? Oh wait, here it is. Nope. What did I do with it? Oh, I didn't save it. Hang on. Wait. Where did it go? Oh, hang on. I got it. I had to make an adjustment to this thing. She's tweeted back this: "I'll have my mansion and your shack in about 2 years. Are you ready to get owned?" Well,
Atta girl.
turns out she was fucking serious. Before responding to the tweet, she had researched the man behind the troll named Luke Kokura and found out that he was struggling financially to make mortgage payments, and his modest home in Sheffield, England was about to be repossessed. So unless he turned things around within 2 years, he was literally at risk at foreclosure. Well, she closely monitored the situation over the next couple years, which, sure enough, only got worse. So she pounced, repossessing the house, buying it from the bank, and then tweeted him again. Here is what she responded to him with this. It is, "I was unduly harsh before. The place isn't a shack. It's more of a hut. Maybe I'll come let you visit in the summertime." So literally, she fucked with him. He fucked with her. She fucked back. I think that's fantastic. She
That
literally
is playing the long game.
Wow.
Right there. Atta girl.
That is crazy.
That's the long game, literally. Actually going the lengths of repossessing and owning someone else's house. How dare you come for me?
I have a new goal in life.
To buy somebody else?
To be J.K. Rowling, right? And
J.K. Rowling's awesome.
oh my God, I'm
Yeah.
stunned. I'm in awe.
So I mean, did she just make him homeless?
Well, no, he already lost the house. She then bought it from the bank.
Oh, okay.
Like, they were already repossessing the house.
Because I was like, wow, that's
That's cold.
Kinda shitty.
Cold. No. The bank would have done the
In
kicking
related
out.
news, J.K. Rowling opens a homeless shelter.
That's how that story needs
And
to
kicks
end.
the one resident.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, and the funny
And
thing,
puts a refugee in their house. That's how that story needs to end.
the funny thing is, anybody that knows J.K. Rowling's story, like she was either homeless or real close
Right.
to it before that first book came
Right.
out. You know what I mean? She's an actual rags to riches kind
Oh,
of a
yeah,
story.
yeah.
And she really is something. I mean, like,
Yeah,
when
she-
you,
everything-
she's
Yeah.
very smart.
I think those
and
books are
very-
nonsense, but
No, and I
but,
have
but
not.
she
I've
seems
I
quite
enjoy the
deli-
nonsense.
She seems quite delightful.
Yeah.
And follow Stephen King on Twitter because he's a fucking riot. He hates all the same people we do, and he's a complete asshole.
Ms. Carlson.
Well, what a handy little segue. Speaking of Stephen King,
Oh!
his new film, his new feature film of
What's it
his
called?
story It is set to rake in the big bucks over opening weekend in September, coming soon. But while those involved with the film are almost certain to experience great success, the film is causing a downturn in another industry.
Clowns.
Clowns. That's right. Back in April,
Red balloons, water. I mean, there's a lot of things.
Back in April, Stephen King revealed that those who make their living dressing up in white makeup, red noses, and floppy shoes have been none too pleased with the recent revival of his popular horror story and its nightmare-inducing villain, Pennywise, the
Yeah.
murderous clown.
That is legit. Oh, I gotta send you a picture.
The clowns are pissed at me, he says. Sorry. Most are great. But kids have always been scared of clowns.
Yeah.
Don't kill the messengers for the message.
That ain't
Stephen
new.
King writes. Now, the World Clown Association president, that's right, that exists, and her name is Pam Moody. She's confirming the news and saying to The Hollywood Reporter that many of her cohorts have had school shows and library shows canceled. Canceled. They're out of work.
Well, they should have been.
Pam, whose alter ego Sparky, the firefighter clown, helps educate kids on fire safety in Des Moines, Iowa.
Fireman Bill.
I sent you a picture for her
And
story.
she claims that King introduced the concept of the evil clown to pop culture with his novel and its 1990 television adaptation. She says that clowns were fine before Stephen King and his meddling ways.
No,
Meddling.
people-
If it weren't for you meddling kids.
because it had Fear of Clowns has a name.
It does.
Oh, there's
And
a
it does.
phobia.
Google
Yeah.
will tell you what it is.
Yeah.
Let's see. Pam takes issue with the
Pam.
takes issue with the portrayal of Pennywise, defining him as somewhat closer to science fiction, adding that he is not a clown and has nothing to do with professional clowning.
Oh, professional
She
clowning.
She is
Nice.
exactly. She is distancing herself from the murderous clowns.
That's good. That's good. I mean, she's gonna ignore the fact that the whole South Carolina, Ohio.
I'm about to answer your
okay.
question. Of course, the fault of the recent hit on her business doesn't sit solely with Stephen King. Last year, there were a series of evil clown sightings in residential areas in
That's
the United
right.
States that
That's
went
right.
viral online, showing that simply being in an empty place in clown makeup is all it takes to scare the pants off of most people.
Yep.
Also contributing to the spread of coulrophobia,
Oh yeah. yeah.
Oh!
the fear of clowns,
Okay.
was American Horror Story on FX, which featured a horrifying clown named Twisty,
Yeah.
who sported a prosthetic grin and a blood-stained outfit.
Yes, and that was truly terrifying. And until these new trailers came out, I found that clown on American Horror Story to be like 100 times scarier than Tim Curry as Pennywise. I wasn't
Yeah.
as entranced by that as everyone else was, but
Well, Twisty was a disgraced children's performer who was ousted from the circus after being unfairly accused of molesting children. That's plenty scary.
Unfairly accused.
And then
Yes.
subsequently went on a murderous rampage, kidnapping and killing young victims and leaving the residents of his small hometown fearing for their lives.
That's scary.
Yeah, according to Pam, the evil clown sightings really,
now back to Pam.
Back to Pam. Back to you, Pam.
really left the industry blindsided. So this time they've come prepared. They've created a press kit to prepare clowns for It movie. This happens in the world.
Yeah.
I just love
That
that this happens. That Pam is concerned for her fellow clowns.
Yeah, and,
It's a thing.
And there's been scary, and my fear is of, I think we've talked about this before. Mine is of masks. Mine
No.
is anyone with a mask on when they have that
Oh,
blank
you have talked about
expression
that.
and their eyes going like no. So
That reminds me, I gotta make sure to get Halloween.
so this isn't from Pam, but so
Not Pam's house.
I'm sitting at Hollywood and Vine at the Starbucks, having a cup of coffee and waiting for Harrison to park the car. And we park in the area where this giant house is. And I'm looking right at that corner. And then finally she says, all right, I'm down here. I'm pulling into a lot. So I walk over, didn't see this, didn't see a 2-story house. That's all I saw was like, oh, it's weird to get into the parking lot. And I was like, oh, they're doing something else. And then I like follow my eyes back to like, and there's a giant haunted house right in the middle of the fucking parking lot where we normally park.
Yikes.
But if you turned around from right there, which I didn't send you that picture, but there was a missing sign, and I was just kind of laughing that I missed the It house that was sitting there, and I'm like blah blah blah, not paying attention, and I see a sign for kind of an attractive missing person on the telephone pole. So I just kind of looked at it because I look at missing signs and stuff like that all the time and see if I'm keeping anybody currently.
Looking for love in all the
looking for nub.
Looking for nub.
Looking for nub. So I look and I'm like, and it was just so realistic and talked about the kid being missing and that he'd be about 17, but he was born in 72. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, is somebody putting up like old missing signs?
Right.
And then it's the kid from the movie missing, and it says like Derry Police Department. And I looked and like the poles around the house have the
That
missing
one.
thing.
There's your sign.
Oh yeah, there it is. So it's Hochstetter, which is one of the characters. So it was just creepy. But I don't know. To me, that looked a little bit like River Phoenix. That's what caught my eye.
Oh, sure.
Now, in reference to clown, I hate the fact that this clown thing is because I'm not a big clown fan either. I really am not. My mom isn't. But recently, over the past couple of years, I've become a fan of this clown.
Puddles.
Because I enjoy the
Sure,
Puddles. He's
sure.
not scary. He's not, he's a
Sad. He's
sad
sad.
clown with a golden voice. And then preceding him, all my enjoyment from clowns came from Krusty. The old Simpsons.
Sure.
The smoking Krusty with the bad, everything was bad.
Right.
I enjoyed him, so I'm saddened that and I've learned that because I watch like I'll lay in bed at night and watch TV, and for some reason they've decided their go-to market for people who watch South Park at night are apparently all the people who will go see it.
Sure.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
every other commercial break is that fucking movie, and I've learned that when I see the first frame of that thing, I just close my eyes and I just
Go to your happy
I
place.
can listen. I'll listen to it. It's fine, but I don't have to. I have to see it because the look on that cloud when he comes out from behind those balloons, like no.
Yeah, we
like,
saw
no.
Harrison and I saw a movie, and I was like, oh, it's an indie comedy movie. Like that, the movies usually go with what you're seeing. I'm like, they're not gonna throw it into this mix.
And
Oh, they did.
oh, they did.
And Harrison like actually couldn't watch it. Like she was like turning away, and she's like, I'm just 100% sure I'm not gonna go see that movie. I'm like, I actually checked to make sure I was off, so I could be first in line.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
And if I can read that book again before it starts, because that book scared the bejesus out of me as a child.
Well, you can.
Yeah, I had it. It's
It
at home.
turns out you have that ability.
That the spine of that book is the first thing you notice when you walk into my guest room.
Is it?
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Hit it.
Alright.
Hit it.
I'm waiting for this to come back up. It's an Apple product. Give me a second.
What is coming up?
Nothing. Just this.
Marnie lost Wi-Fi.
I don't understand how
No,
anybody
I
loses
know. It
Wi-Fi in this
doesn't,
house.
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
It was acting kind of funky earlier, but I rebooted and it came back up.
Sharon has the same affliction. Literally.
So is it her story?
It is her story.
It
but,
is,
but it
it's
may
fine.
have to be your story.
No, actually, I got it right
You
here.
got it? All right.
I'm used to this. So, I'll take a cold one, and that would be from Anheuser-Busch. Mm-hmm. Anheuser-Busch did the same thing during Katrina, but they stopped beer production, and they sent water to the Hurricane Harvey
Right.
victims.
Oh,
I
very
like
good.
when they do
Canned
that.
So I
water.
sent you a picture just a few
did?
seconds ago. On Monday morning, Anheuser-Busch, their Cartersville, Georgia brewery traded in hops for helping hands. In the wake of Hurricane Harvey, the beer makers' emergency water program has sent over 155,000 cans of drinking water to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and Arlington, Texas, to help those in need. Since 1988, we've donated an excess of 76 million cans of clean drinking water. the Cartersville location is our designated brewery for the emergency water program, so it's something that they're real proud of.
They're
Real
the
proud. Real
Yep,
proud.
real proud. That location opened in '93, and they serve Georgia, Alabama, Florida, Tennessee, and South Carolina. And it usually shuts down beer production, twice a year, to produce cans of emergency drinking water. But they will increase production as needed. So I didn't realize that was
That's
something
fantastic.
that they do normally.
I've heard that before from.
Well, they have, you know,
I
like the
remember they
Coors
did it
plant
during
has
Katrina.
the access to the water that they need
Sure.
for the beer, so why not just bottle that shit?
Absolutely. This particular brewery sends out approximately 250 trucks per day with shipments of beer, trucks that are now being put to work for the communities impacted by Harvey. The guy in charge stressed that the relief efforts are only possible because of the partnership with Anheuser-Busch's partnership with American Red Cross, which I did not know.
That's fantastic.
I
guess we all gotta go have a Budweiser.
Right? That exactly.
Oh,
That apparently has been in
man.
place for over 100 years, which I thought was interesting. We have an excess of 400 independent distributors throughout the United States that allow us to do this. It'd be much more difficult to just do it at a local level. So it's
Wow, that's
nationwide.
fantastic
Yeah,
to hear.
I thought that was wonderful. So a shout out to Anheuser-Busch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Have a
nice.
Bud Light,
And I have
which
been,
is similar to water.
all of a sudden on the TVs, the Miller has brought back its old.
Miller beer.
Yeah.
Oh, have
if
they?
you've got the time, we've got the beer.
And I seriously,
Miller beer.
I have always wanted Bob Fosse to choreograph something that song because it just sounds
Right.
like a Fosse
You're
song
right, it
to
does.
me. Like
To
I can
have
just
the
picture,
cane?
yeah, I can just picture Ann Fosse like working her way down. Ann Fosse, Anne Reinking. They were never married. So, add former Sex and the City star Cynthia Nixon, also Miranda, to the list of entertainment celebrities that may transition to politics. The Wall Street Journal reported today that Nixon has been approached by liberal supporters who want her to challenge Governor Andrew Cuomo in the state Democratic primary next year.
Interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was an interesting way to go. I thought maybe he was going to be out. She has been active in politics, particularly on behalf of LGBTQ issues. She injected a note of political fervor during her acceptance speech at this year's Tony Awards. She won for Best Featured Actress in Lillian Hellman's The Little Foxes, but did not call out a particular politician. She has, however, taken on President Trump in past public statements. She has yet to respond to the reports on a potential candidacy. So she joins Kid Rock, Caitlyn Jenner, and Antonio Sabato Jr. as celebrities who have either indicated they will run or are mulling it. So, and I guess hers came from the other headline that I read, that it was during like a GMA stop, like some chat show that she was on, that it came up and they verified that, yeah, there are people looking to get
Looking
her to
into
run.
it. Right on.
Interesting.
But I'm like, is Cuomo really the governor we want to try to make vulnerable?
Yeah,
Like-
I wonder why that is. What's happening that
I think it should be a crazy election where there are like 28 primary people in every race, all the way down to dog
Oh, like the
catcher,
rent's too high guy, the
Right.
rent's too damn high guy. Oh, the
Oh,
New York State
that
elections
guy.
are just fun.
Yeah.
Everyone should be running for office.
Yeah.
Just all of it.
All of ya.
All of it. And they should be
Including
buying this
Frida-gitis.
smoker right here.
The what?
There's a smoker.
Oh, now we're on
Look,
the
it's
QVC
two-rack.
smoker.
Yeah, that's
Entertainment headlines.
fantastic.
Okay.
They made some ribs earlier. Now what are we making?
Got
Some-
me some ribs.
we got some. We're putting some different kind of wood in there that looks to be a hickory. I don't even know. It's wonderful.
How many payments is that?
This master-built 2-rack patio and portable electric smoker with rib rack
This isn't fucking Price is Right.
Oh, and Nat, what
Johnny
have
O,
you
tell me
done?
what we've got in our showcase showdown.
is available right now on QVC for 4 easy payments of $19.99. That's right. That price has been slashed
Again. Oh, my God.
from the original price of $97. Today's special value, $79.69. Features a large cooking space. Hang on,
They buy you a kitchen?
Easy storage.
Right?
It becomes the house.
No, it's smaller than a cooler, smaller than a beer cooler. It has 2 smoking racks.
It's bigger than a bread box.
Choice of black,
Smaller.
blue, or red
Oh.
Fancy.
Yeah, I guess.
to match
Don't you
your
just,
decor.
when you're smoking something, don't you just like bury it in the ground? Don't you dig a hole and put like,
That'd be a Dutch oven.
that's when
No.
you fart in bed.
Hey, back to you, Bob.
When you smoke something, I thought it was in a bong. I wasn't really sure. Anyway, here we go. The end of hour 2.
So many questions.
Here comes Al Perkins with our teaser for entertainment.
I didn't know she was going to keep talking. We have a movie review. We have a horror TV show coming up that looks very interesting. Leah Remini is in her second season of the cult shit. Kathy Griffin is not sorry. And
Nor should she be.
Nor should she be. And I feel like there was one more, but I can't find it. In entertainment.
We'll be back with entertainment now. Right after this, it's Q Talk America. Enjoy.
You're listening to Q Talk America. This is the Q Talk America Radio Network.
Once again, you've joined us. It's hour 3. Thanks for being here. Everybody's still going in the chat room. Oh my gosh, we've had an exciting 2 hours thus far of talking about topics, politics, things that bug us, things that don't, and people that bug us. Because, there's people like that. For those of you who aren't watching us and just listening, you can't see, Marnie has a Texas Longhorns hat on tonight. She's trying to represent for Texas. Everybody's up for Texas this weekend.
That's
Until they get through all the shit they got to go through, for crying out loud. Holy cow, our drinking word was somebody's weird name. I'm not sure who it was.
Frida Guidus.
Frida Guidus is our drinking word. Oh.
And I needed something to yell. I needed something to drink when I yelled.
Of course you did. Well, we've got
Frida Guidus.
We have 2 things with Kat Carlson coming up a little bit later, thoughtful vulgarity, but right now it's Al Perkins and entertainment.
Well, we have the return this week. As all of you know, I love horror movies and horror things. So American Horror Story Cult, that's this season's title, comes out next Wednesday, I believe-ish.
Okay.
Tuesday or Wednesday. It's on the 5th of September.
Okay, the 5th.
And everything that we know is that it's kind of about the election. Ryan Murphy, creator, director extraordinaire-ish, except for when he can't find an editor, said it had something to do about the election. And Sarah Paulson is back with us. Evan Peters, my most-time crush, have some role to play in this. There's bees and honeycombs as a way to invoke ideas about the hive mind and trigger trypophobia, which is the fear of bees. But the bees will also be part of the plot. Billy Eichner, who plays Paulson's neighbor, is a beekeeper. So who knows what the fuck is going to happen. Advertising includes swarms of clowns as well as bees, and the creepy clowns will also be in the show. Paulson's character confesses her fear of clowns to a therapist, played by Cheyenne Jackson, hot hottie, and admits that since the election she sees clowns everywhere.
Oh.
So in one shot,
because he's on TV all the fucking time.
In one shot, she holds a graphic novel that depicts a American Horror Story freak show's Twisty the Clown, though it's unclear whether Twisty will reappear in the flesh, because it turns out all of the seasons of American Horror Story are somehow connected. A realtor from one is a realtor for another one. So there's been little winks at past seasons. And if you can figure out what the hell happened during American Horror Story Coven, get back to me if you found something that teased you about that. Lena Dunham is going to be appearing in it. They will include actual cults. There won't be any supernatural elements, and that it's a love story. So, and it's going to be, Paulson will be married to Allison Pill, who was from The Newsroom, who I really enjoyed in The Newsroom as the nerdy girl that the only carryover from the old Newsroom into the new Newsroom. She ended up falling in love with, the blonde. The one who the show was kind of about.
All right.
Yeah. It's kind of about her.
I didn't like her.
Sadly, she's more interested in QVC than Sarah Paulson.
Yeah.
Listen, you haven't seen this mac and cheese.
Yeah. You haven't seen what they've done here.
They've been a solid 20 minutes on this smoker.
So Kathy Griffin, who I really, and luckily it's written down here so I don't try to call her Kathy Griffith, which I do all the time.
No.
She's no longer sorry for her infamous Trump photo. And I really have to say, one of the saddest things during this presidency was her in that tear-stained apology that just was like, just own it.
Don't
move
apologize.
on.
Say, yep,
Agreed.
that's what I did.
So now she's saying she'd like a mulligan on her apology for her infamous photo with a bloody facsimile of Donald Trump's head. Back in May, she was embroiled in controversy that sparked a 2-month federal investigation when images were released of her holding what closely resembled the president's head. Following the immediate backlash, many people were afraid of clowns, and she now regrets it. I made up the clown part.
I was like, wait a minute, I don't remember that part.
She's like, she says, I quote, "I am no longer sorry. The whole outrage was BS. The whole thing got so blown out of proportion. I lost everybody." Things turned a bit contentious when Griffin mentioned criticism she faced from people like Chelsea Clinton and Deborah Messing. That these aren't Trump supporters, but they didn't like it. They just thought it was over the line. And you're full of crap is what Griffin fires back to the interviewer. Stop acting like my little picture is more important than talking about actual atrocities that the president of the United States is committing. And she went off about the decisions made by Trump, who she called him the fool, not the president's. Transgender military ban, the presidential pardon to Joe Arpaio, all the things he said about Charlottesville. So she went off on a rage on this person, Australian TV. So it's a good place to get your feet wet. Go to Australia, feel it out, see how it sounds, because that was just a terrible. That apology was just not,
it was ridiculous.
Not right. So my movie suggestion, if you can find it, it's a little movie called Ingrid Goes West, and it's Aubrey Plaza, who I absolutely love. You might know her from The Office and a couple other things. She was in that movie with Anna Kendrick, Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates. Like, she always plays this disaffected, like, millennial who's just so bored with it all and over everything. And it's kind of like the finger on the pulse of, like, right now, today, or the movie version of Dear Evan Hansen, however you want to look at it. But she's unbalanced, obsessed with Instagram, following Instagram, and one of those things where, like, she doesn't have any friends or followers. She has no one in her real life, and, like, she puts things out there, but, like, no one's responding back, and she's responding to other people's things, and they might respond to her, and she thinks it's a friendship.
Okay.
So she might spend a minute or two in a mental institution.
Sure.
And then latch on to this person in LA that she thinks has this fabulous life, and she goes west to become a stalker. So it's kind of like this generation single white female, but with less murderous overtones and more about just a sad person who doesn't have anybody in their real life and is going through social media and Instagram and like trying to like change their life to be more like this person they think they admire. And it's Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn's son. It's Elizabeth Olsen, Billy Magnuson, who's just lovely.
Why do I know that name?
Oh, because I talk about him all the time. He's a little hottie that I saw on Broadway or off Broadway.
Okay.
It's just an interesting movie and it has something real to say. It's got Ice. I think it's Ice Cube. I haven't looked it up yet. I think it's Ice Cube's son, O'Shea Jackson Jr. I think is his name. It's a really good cast and a really like of this minute, and people that are just living through social media and all that stuff, and how they get where they're going, or become these different people that they're truly not. Like they're putting up this life that they want people to think they're living.
Sure, Pinteresty kind of.
Right. So
everything,
here's
right?
someone who's trying to emulate someone that's not living a legitimate life to start off with, and like.
Sure.
You know,
I want to be just like you, except you're
not like that.
person.
Yeah, except
Right.
you're not like that.
No.
So for people who may have been watching QVC instead, please recap what's
Oh
the
my
name of
God.
the movie.
Ingrid Goes West.
You're killing
Thank you.
me.
Little
What? Now they smoke some salmon.
Yeah. Little release. And Aubrey, I think it's Aubrey Plaza's second movie with this writer director, if I'm not mistaken, and she's a producer on it. And it really is just an unflinching look at a little bit of mental illness, a little bit of like borderline personality disorder, but manifested through social media and how easily we just get caught up
sucked
in
in.
someone's
Sure.
bullshit. Yeah. I just thought it was
Absolutely.
really well done. It's one of those
I mean,
movies
I've
that
been following Kat for a long time.
Yeah. But like seriously, like
And I am not at all like my Instagram. let me
a
tell
day
you.
later, I still had conversations
I
that
just
need to
found
be
out I
had
have
about
an
that movie.
Instagram
Like
account.
very interesting.
For those of
I
you
don't know.
wondering, what is his name? Billy Magnuson?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yep.
I found him. I thought Al would be appreciative.
I didn't know he was lost.
Of this picture. I didn't know. There's his Tony Award, and then
Oh, sure.
there's his Tony.
Yeah.
Wasn't he in the
Masha and Misha
No,
and
no.
Visha and Spike. Into the Woods.
Yeah.
Off we go.
Okay.
He was
but
the
I
other
was-
prince in Into the Woods.
Thank you. I
Yes.
was actually not going for that. I was thinking the hunting games. What is it called?
Agony,
Hunger
far
Games.
more
No,
painful
I don't.
than
I don't. I
yours.
don't think so. I only made it through one of those
No,
Hunger Games, and
me
I
too.
wanted to eat her.
Yeah.
Because I thought that's how that worked.
Let's all
Wow.
go to the
He was in The
lobby.
Big Short. He was in Into the
But yeah, now that you
Woods.
say Into the Woods, that makes sense. I
Yeah.
see that.
Yeah.
But
He's a cutie, you're
he-
right.
Off Broadway with Sigourney Weaver and Niles from Frasier.
Mm-hmm.
He was Sigourney Weaver's
Hyde Pierce.
David Hyde Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
He was Sigourney Weaver's boy toy in that Masha and Vasha and Mika and Spike or whatever it was. I never get the name right, but it was like
You're
a play.
pretty close.
It was a play about a comedy about making fun of the cherry orchard.
Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice.
Yeah, but it really was. It's like if you
She
mixed,
doesn't even know. She
if you
doesn't know.
mixed
That's
the
fantastic.
cherry orchard with Bob and Carol, Ted and Alice, that's exactly what they were going.
Okay.
That's exactly what the name was going for. So we talked about that. So then, and now Leah Remini is in her second season of the Scientology show, and I don't care. Like
I
I
love
found
it.
that I just don't want to hear stories about people that got abused by the church anymore. Like do something about it now.
Well,
I mean, and she is. She's going through
but
her
wait,
lawyers.
So you say that, but you haven't watched this season yet.
No, I
correct?
have. Yeah,
Did you watch two of both of them? Because there's been two, which you probably didn't because you were gone to L.A. I bet you haven't watched the second one
When was this? When? Yeah.
last week. When you were
When does it
gone.
air? Doesn't it air on Wednesdays?
Tuesdays or Wednesdays?
Yeah, I saw it.
So, okay, then what happened?
I don't know. Because I honestly it ends and I'm like,
So what okay, you say didn't do something. Well, they did something. They interviewed the two gals that had been molested, one from Australia and the other one who was from whatever country, a Nordic country. She spoke no English. Anyway, over the course of this, there have been many times. Okay, what happened was during the actual interview where they were interviewing them, they had already had it established and had made an appointment. This is the first time that the LAPD has shown up, taken a statement, and interviewed people about it, and there's an actual case open now with the LAPD against the molestation case against them, against the two fathers of these girls. So that's the first thing that they've done. Now, after the first season, what they got was the last episode of the first season was literally them going in to meet with their lawyers
Went to
about
the lawyers, and they were like, "But we can't say anything
but,
about
yeah,
it."
because we don't know what we're walking into.
Right,
we
right,
can't
right,
do
sure.
it. Well, now they've come back. They're like, okay, now we got shit to do because now they they've dotted their I's and crossed their T's legally so that
Right.
they can do all this stuff. Well, the fact that they've now got the first against the Church of Scientology and or these people, they've got these documented open cases now about this molestation. So I think the ball is starting to roll with
Yeah.
that, which
I
I
think
think is
it's
fantastic. But
I just want them to go right for Miss Cabbage and that missing wife.
know.
Like,
Oh,
like, get to that missing. Like, she's still missing. Like,
don't you think
what
they'll
if this-
eventually get there with that? They've got to.
I don't know. I'm just
I just can't fathom that no one's actually looking for her.
right. That's what's pissing me off.
I
like,
mean,
Well, because nobody from internally was ever going to report it, because then they become a combative of the church.
no, but,
But
once
so,
this
like-
has been out there
Right.
for so long that someone wouldn't say,
She's fine.
should we just find her and
Right.
shut everybody up?
right.
If that's the case, then great.
That's what I'm saying. Like, there's all kinds of like travesties going on, but in the main part of it, this man's wife has been missing
For years.
For years. So do the police have to wait for the husband to declare her missing? Like, why can't your friends and family
well,
be like,
if her friends and family are engulfed in this fucking cult,
so are they all saying that
I
they've
don't know.
They've seen her.
seen her? I
But
don't know.
I think it's fascinating from the standpoint of
And I get that they're doing
exposing-
something, but I want them to go, like, I want that
for
shit
the-
shut
for the
down. You know?
jugular.
Yeah.
Oh no, I agree. I
Yeah.
would love to see it shut down too, because I think it's a beautiful example. Just like, I mean, it's not exactly, but I'm drawing a
False equivalency.
I'm drawing a little bit of a parallel to
Joel Osteen?
Joel Osteen.
Yeah.
And all of these people who stand behind God and the church and all that, whatever the fuck they're doing. I mean, I realize Scientology is completely different, but
But is it?
they stand behind.
Are they?
They stand behind their walls of quote church
Free to
and
guide us, I'm not sure.
and religion, and it just drives me crazy.
Yeah.
So the exposing of them, I think, is fantastic. And if what is that? Scrambled eggs? They're selling scrambled eggs.
No, it's the mac and cheese again. Now they got it on a plate.
It looks like scrambled eggs, though. I do enjoy scrambled
Nero,
eggs.
I would think so. Nero
lovely.
says maybe there's someone looking, just not publicly, and I
Well,
would think so.
I bet there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on, because she has rustled some feathers big time, and you can't tell me that somebody in that jurisdiction, wherever the church is based, which I think is in L.A.
That's what I'm not sure. That's my question about her being missing. Like, are they just saying she's in Australia, so LA police can't do anything about it?
She's on a boat.
Right. Like,
She's
is
in
she
international
like,
waters.
Exactly. Like, that's my question. I was like, there's somebody
But
missing.
it really is astounding. And I actually told my mom this last weekend. She doesn't watch the show because she doesn't like Leah Remini, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But I said to her, I'm like, if I've never said it to you before, and I know that I have, thank you for giving me an opportunity to do and pursue what I wanted to and not force me into anything. Because she was never like that. She was never, like, her mother
Was there
went to church a little
Yeah.
bit. Her mother did a little bit,
I
and
never
my
asked
grandfather
that.
didn't really care to do, so he didn't. And then as they all got older, the girls quit going. My grandmother, quit going, and she got a little disinterested in the whole religion thing. But my grandmother went because her mother was quite religious.
What about
But-
with Mike?
Not at all.
I mean,
well,
did he have their family?
No, that was the Catholic side of the family.
Okay.
They only went to church for weddings and funerals.
Right.
And
Marrying
then,
and burying.
yeah, that was pretty much it. Otherwise, it was vodka and barbiturates. Is really kind of how my grandmother went through
fair.
it all.
No.
But no, there was no real religion.
Like Catholics do.
But I was
I
just
thought they called that communion.
No? Tuesday.
I don't know, right.
But
Perhaps.
but no, I was just so thankful that I was never subjected to that. And to that point, I have
Bless you.
I was whatever path of my life was, I was fortunate. I don't have any of those horrible stories that so many people have with regards to religion and oppression, and then you come out that you're gay and you get, excommunicated from your family and all of that other bullshit. I don't have any of that to deal with, and it's unfortunate that so many people do, and I see them still leaning on religion, and it just, how can, and maybe this is a pompous statement to make, how can you be that weak? I don't understand.
Well,
I just see the followers, like Jonestown and all these people who just blindly follow. I don't get it.
but there's people that have faith. There's people that blindly follow. There's,
Okay,
just because
so-
you belong to a Methodist church doesn't mean you're going to join a cult tomorrow. Like, they're not. That's
Right.
that's not.
But
the
I
same
see what
thing.
you're saying. I mean, because I know that you're looking at it over on this side of things. That's
Yeah.
why I'm like, yeah, but I think that there are things that you just, for me, that I just like to believe in. If that makes sense. That's
He's having a
Yeah.
smartie.
I mean,
I'm like,
if
who's-
that makes any
who's
sense, I don't know.
rapping?
Is Molly Montgomery here somewhere?
No, right.
She would be.
So anyway, but no, the Leo Remini thing, I have my DVR set. It records it. I enjoy it. Just because I want them to out all that stuff. And the day that they're going to show the episode where they literally shut it down, I'll call you.
Yeah.
Let you
No,
know,
I
I'll
mean,
let you know.
I tape it. I watched it.
Oh, okay.
But it's one of those things where it was just like, okay, we like bad things happened in this church. We need a plan now.
Well, and then
Right.
have you also seen the people that like everywhere they go? There's
Especially since the one guy is the enforcer. Like, why isn't he able to turn himself in and be like, I did some shitty stuff and follow people around and fucked with their finances?
Right.
And that whole thing of turning to him and be like, you did that. Yeah, he did, and I'm going to need him to be a little less glib about it. Like, I know he's sorry and he did his penance early in the show, but now I just want to, like, kick him a couple times and be like, nope, fucker, some of this is on you.
well, in fact, the two women.
So he needs to lay... So that's my problem with, like...
Yeah, but we
they
have, I mean, look at it. We have Miscavige and we have Trump. They're really the same person.
Right, but this guy that's on the show with her is the enforcer
he's
for
a former.
Miscavige.
He's a former
right,
high-ranking person.
So
right.
some of the, like, one of the stories that they told, I think was week 1, where the guy was, the person, I don't know if it was a man or a woman, was going on and on and on about, like, the things that were happening to them, and she's like, yeah, that was you doing it. And he's like, yeah, I did that. Like, go to the police and tell them this is true because
And
I
maybe he
did it.
has because it's
Like,
all out there.
I
but
know,
he doesn't
but
have
it's one of
any
those things
proof
where
of
that's
something.
not the A&E show. I want to see
Right,
him
right,
go down
right.
and, like, be more than, because now
Make
it just
this
feels like
HBO, and
now
let
I
me
feel
see
like he
some
just
real
got
shit.
blow dried and he's being glib about it. Like, no.
Was it a Dyson Supersonic
Yeah.
blow dryer?
Yes, there
It's
you go.
on sale.
well, in fact, the last
Afraid to
Easy
guide us,
payment.
it was a hell of a blowjob.
One of the
That
two-
was 6
dryer.
payments.
one of the two girls in last week's episode that was talking about that they gave their deposition to the police was her mother was an oil painting. She was an artist that did portraits, and the church had commissioned her to come from Australia to L.A. to do portraits of L. Ron Hubbard. And he literally said, he goes, I'm the one that brought her to L.A. Like, that's the guy you're talking about. Mike, I think is his name.
Yeah.
He's the one that got her to come to L.A. And then she was there for 2 years, and then they called for the family to come from Australia. And that's when the molestation started because there's a whole long story afterwards.
Yeah, and it's
Wow.
I don't know what it is, but it's that whole thing of like, I brought her here. Go to the police and tell them that yes, you're looking for this because I used to do it.
Yeah.
And this whole thing of being on TV.
And this is how I did
Well,
it.
he did-
This is-
yeah. I mean, he's sorry about
he
it.
brought her there, but
No,
he
but
didn't do them
all those other things, following people around, stalking them, ruining
right.
their bank accounts, like all the things that they're talking about, they're just acting like it's no big deal. Like, no, you stole someone's identity and fucked with their credit. That's a big fucking
Yeah.
deal. Like, you don't, and I don't like that glibness on TV now of we forgave him last season, and this season he just gets to be the innocent with that joke. I think that was the minute where she lost me, when she was like, "Oh, you did that," and he was like, "Ha ha ha, yeah," and I was like, "Oh, this show just took an ugly
Okay.
turn for me. Like
Huh?
they've
I
made
can
him
see
not
that.
culpable. Like,
Okay.
There's
I can
that.
see
I
that.
get that you're, sorry, not sorry, kind of. Ugh.
I wonder if he has a deal.
That's what, right? But go to the cops. Tell them about the people living in the boxes. You know what I mean? Tell them.
What's your next entertainment story?
That might have been the end. And we got a lot more mileage out of that than I thought we would.
Well, because other people talked about it. Okay, well then.
Well, that's the whole point.
Well, yes.
Is that how this works?
the communal of
Can,
the stories.
can we, before you jump us into something else, can we just very briefly touch on book club? And may I just say, go read that fucking book. I've just started, and I'm like so intrigued and moved and stunned. And have you started reading? Yes,
It's absolutely beautiful.
What were
Go-
we reading again?
Lincoln in the Bardo.
Lincoln in the Bardo.
Lincoln
Yes.
like the president.
Uh-huh.
Literally about Lincoln.
Also, Anant had asked something about For the Bible Tells Me So, a
Yeah,
documentary.
it's a
I've not
documentary
seen it.
about it's from 07-ish, 06, 07. Story about homosexuality and Christianity. It's a very upsetting documentary, but really, really cuts to the bone. It's very well done. I feel like it touches on Bible camps, like people going to like pray with the gay Bible camps. I feel like that's the movie because there was a couple that year, but that were the same. And then Outrage is the one about outing
Richard Gephardt. That's through the experience.
Dick
Gephardt.
Gephardt?
Through the experience of 5 very normal, very Christian, very American families, including those of former House Majority Leader Richard Gephardt, And Episcopalian Bishop Gene Robinson, who I'm not sure who that is. Yeah, I mean, I just saw Richard Gephardt, and I'm like, what? Dick Gephardt was in that. What?
Yeah, I mean, it was a very interesting one. And outrage is about outing politicians.
I saw that one.
Yeah, and that one, it upset me. Like, because I was like, okay, kind of in your own time, but you're kind of a dick. I can never make up my mind about publicly outing people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they got to find their own truth. But on the other hand, I kind of want to hit them with a shovel. So I'm torn.
but was the outing of them? Did it have to do with were they're lawmakers? Was it had anything to do with the fact of what they were voting for and against?
Yeah,
and they were fucking their own community.
Yeah. Yes.
From financial gain.
No. It was more about like anti-gay marriage, you know what I mean? Like all these things that they were voting against, but it was them. And then they would come out later after saying vile things and being horrible people, and they would get outed for the thing. And it's a tough topic because you kind of everyone knows the kid in school that was a bully, and it was because they were gay themselves. Sure. You know what I mean? Like tale as old as time.
Song as old as rhyme.
Frida Gita, whatever the fuck her name was. Frida B. You and
Frida
me.
Gita.
Wow. Frida Gaitis.
Yes.
So, but it's a tough it's an interesting documentary, but it's a tough one to watch because you kind of there's a couple people that you think maybe they ruined someone's life by outing them. But did they deserve
right?
Like you're kind of torn. You want to be the better person, but then you also, like I said, want to hit him with the shovel.
Sure.
Is that your book club overview?
That was my. Yeah, no, it's not book club time yet. We said the end of September.
End of September.
No, I know, but I just want to make sure you got out what you needed.
I started reading it on the plane and was very moved and can't wait to finish it and want other people to read it. So that it's not just Al and I talking about it.
Yes. Lovely story of loss and ghosts, and it's really lovely.
Yeah.
Two things is what she brings. Two things is what she's talking about. Two things, important little things. That is what she's spouting out.
You just need two things.
That means two things.
Let's get two things clear.
And then two things about yourself.
And I've come to share with you one of two things. No, two of two things. We're sharing two things right now.
There are only two things I can't stand in this world.
Quick, grab two things you love.
It can be two things.
Only two things in the world I'm scared of.
Rise of frazzle, two things.
Remember two things.
I believe in two things.
Guys are only after two things.
What's better, doing two things at once or just one?
Never half-ass two things. Whole-ass one thing.
Kat Carlson, boys and girls.
Tonight's two things are really two people with similar sounding names.
Frida Gita.
Mattis and Maddow.
Nicely done.
Look at you.
Well played.
You have piqued my interest.
Well, clearly, if Maddow's in the news, we're going to have to talk about it.
I love it, Eric.
I'm glad it landed here because then it just made the nice segue with Mattis. So we'll start with Mattis. People that watch the news obsessively like we do will have heard about the transgender ban in the military.
Yep.
What you may not have heard because it happened today is that General Mattis, who is the defense secretary currently until he quits or gets fired.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to quit, but then I fired him.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
You can't fire me. I quit. Who fucking knows? I don't even.
Because you're both for.
Who cares?
No.
But he's doing good work today in that he has put the brakes on. They're not ready to kick transgender people out just yet, and he is going to go ahead and wait for a study, which feels at least a little bit more scientific to me than just saying, nope, we don't want to pay for their medical bills.
Right.
What is it about these fuckers and trying to just take medicine away from people?
Right.
In any event, for now, the current policy allowing transgender individuals already in the military to serve will remain in place. They are putting together a panel. The panel will be comprised of individuals from the Defense Department and the Department of Homeland Security who will provide advice and recommendations on the implementation of the president's direction. So they're not quite giving him the finger yet, but they're going, hold on, fucker.
Sit down.
Yep.
Oh,
Sit down,
You
John.
don't tell us what to do.
We're not playing it that way.
Right. As you know, the president's memo asked the Department of Defense and Department of Homeland Security to determine how to address transgender individuals currently serving based on military effectiveness, lethality, because apparently being trans, you can't do this.
No.
Isn't that what Tom Hanks said in A League of Their Own? Like, I don't know what my knee has to do with doing this. I can just shoot Nazis all day.
That's right. That was funny.
For those of you just listening, I was making a trigger motion with my finger.
Mm-hmm.
With just her finger.
I don't know if this fact or what the rest of your story is. I don't want to step on facts.
Step on in.
So, from what I'm understanding with this little deal, because they're all what they're oddly screaming about is the increase of medical expenses, right? That's what you're saying.
Which is some bullshit.
So apparently, it's 8.4 million out of 6.2 billion dollars is what they're talking about.
Correct.
$84 million is what they currently spend for Viagra.
For Viagra, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
To get them hard-ons, so they can help rape each other.
So, okay, let's cut that.
Yep.
Let's cut that out of there. Fuck it.
100%.
I just
Viagra has a very, very, very real use, though. It's not a hard-on.
For heart.
No,
right?
for pulmonary hypertension.
Yeah.
It's a very real drug. With a very
it's
very
not
serious
typically
problem.
prescribed for
but
that.
that's the loop.
Hang on a
That's
second.
the loophole.
That's
Sure.
right.
But it's not typically prescribed for that.
No, it
And
just
so if
luckily the people in this
In fact,
the
there are
study had
medications
boners.
that do that better
Yeah.
than Viagra does.
Right. But that's the loophole that gets them back in.
we're going to
I'm not
prescribe
disagreeing
this,
with
and
you.
you're going to be in a submarine for 9 months. Get ready.
I really wish I could get inside the brain of some of these people and figure out why they're so against people having access to medicine.
Yeah.
What is it about you, and what is it in your brain that makes you think that other people,
God,
not people like me, but other people should not have access to doctors? And I, being a douchebag in the federal government, feel like I have that power and that authority to just say you don't get medical coverage.
Yeah.
anymore. What the fuck is that?
Power.
What is that?
Power and
what
control.
a weird power thing. Listen, I understand a power trip. I may have gone on a few of them.
Yeah.
I may have abused
Flukenflimer, whatever it is.
Flukenflimer.
I don't know. The drinking word. I don't know. Flukenheimer.
Yeah.
Hoppendextrin.
I understand
Whatever.
the inclination to inflict harm on other people. I understand a lot of horrible things that people do or think, but that's just a weird thing to me. I just don't understand that's the thing. Anyway, so that's a thing that's happening. That's a thing to watch. Watch this space, which
There's your segue to my girl.
is something that our friend Clayton's boyfriend Rachel Maddow says a lot. Watch this space. Well, as it turns out, your boyfriend has the #1 most watched cable news show.
We're very proud of
As
him.
of the end of August,
Yep.
ending the month with 2.78 million total viewers, according to Nielsen Media Research, of course. It was Maddow's second month in a row as #1. Do you get her a cake for the second month? What do you do for
I don't know
her?
what that anniversary is. I don't know. I have to get a book. I have to figure out. I don't know if it's wood or what. I'm not sure what it is.
Oh.
Yeah, but no, I'm not sure what that celebration gift
The
is.
future Rachel McKee narrowly.
I doubt seriously.
Or Clayton Maddow.
There could be a green card issue. Who
I just don't
knows?
want to. I just want to change the monogram on my towels. That's all I want to do.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
You wouldn't have to.
Right, it'd be an M or an M. Yeah, I got that.
You could be Mrs. Maddow. I don't care whose name you take. It's fine.
That was an old Carson joke years and years ago. He just doesn't want to get new towels.
Right. In any event, she's narrowly beating Sean Hannity.
Oh,
unfortunately,
which
talk
is
about
so
some
weird,
extremes.
right?
But they're in the tank because Papa Bear
Ayers.
No, Bill is gone.
Oh, Bill Maher.
O'Reilly.
O'Reilly.
Bill O'Reilly.
Well, now fucking Tucker Carlson is just as popular, if not more so. In
No,
his
because
slot.
Bill O'Reilly was ahead of everyone by leaps and bounds.
Was he?
So Tucker's not even coming near to filling the space,
Tucker's
and he
horrible.
is vile, vile.
Ugh.
As much as at least Sean Hannity wears his
appreciated that.
his KKK hood proudly
On
and
his face.
doesn't really
You know
hide it.
where he's you know
Yeah,
where he's coming
Tucker
from.
Carlson
Yep.
asks like he cares about people, and he just is just vile.
So much. In any event, we here at Q Talk America are very proud of Clayton's boyfriend.
Yes.
Rachel Maddow. For her second month at
Completely.
#1.
And Lawrence
Lawrence
O'Donnell is
O'Donnell.
loving it because she's his lead-in.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, he's fucking funny.
Well, he can be.
He
I don't-
can be.
I don't always
like
like
the
him.
smarmy. I like the smarmy where he's sitting there and he's just like,
What I
No.
do, I think the
No.
smarmy that I enjoy of him is because he's been in the Senate.
Sure.
And he knows how things work. So when somebody says something, he's like, no.
That's what
not how
that's
this
what I'm
works."
referring to.
Okay.
It's just where
Yeah.
he's just like, no.
I enjoy Brian Williams so much. Since I do DVR it, I usually skim through Lawrence and wait to see who he's got, and then I
Sure.
just go right for the 11th hour.
Oh yeah, but that 11th hour is my
Yeah, and we watch all three.
because I want to date Brian Williams because I think witty repartee and a hand job is just what
Oh.
she needs.
Mrs. Williams.
There you have it.
And I enjoy Brian Williams' sense of humor and his segues that he goes.
Oh
it's
yeah,
fantastic.
that's what I'm in for.
Yeah.
I don't care who he's interviewing. Just how are you gonna toss out of this?
Right.
This could be fantastic.
Exactly. How are we going to transition this?
Well, I know my listening of the Rachel Maddow podcast is probably not adding to these, but I'm delighted.
No, and you don't get the only thing you don't get with that is I think they do her actual
Commercials?
Well, no, her actual segments like there's
So
there's stuff that's off script that's not the real story that she ad libs and does. I think.
Oh no, I get the whole show.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the whole live show,
because
just
when you-
rebroadcast as a podcast.
Because when you watch, like if I watch her segments on MSNBC's website, you don't get everything. You just get the core story that they were
Nope,
doing
I
in
get
that segment.
48 minutes worth of Rachel
Oh,
Maddow.
fantastic!
Yep.
Very
I
cool.
get the whole story, the whole everything, just audio only format. So those of you that are audio only listeners that may live
And you
out
can
of the
hear her
country
do
or
the thing with the papers. That
oh
makes
yeah,
me
you
laugh.
can hear her shuffle the
No.
papers.
No, she does.
Oh, I tell you what, I tell you what, I tell you what I
Yeah.
don't like.
Yeah.
Like that amuses me. Like it's one of her little ticks.
What I don't like, and you just never going to get away from it when they're doing a two shot and it's her and whoever she's interviewing and she asks a question and then they go full screen with whoever and then all of a sudden all you hear is
Oh yeah.
when she's doing whatever she's doing to communicate with control room or she's looking something up or whatever, and whoever's on audio doesn't cut her mic fast enough.
Oh
Yeah.
sure.
Drives me crazy.
Sure.
And they bring it back up when the toss comes back and she has to come back with another question.
I think that happens here when I really get to start typing.
I don't care
in,
about
so.
here, but yeah.
In any event, those are my two things. I thought it was clever with the names and two stories,
Yeah.
and that's it. That's all I got.
That's good. I appreciate that.
I like
Madison
Well
Maddow.
done. Well done. Mm-hmm.
Well
Very good.
played.
Shining.
Well, that could be a good show, probably too. The Madison Maddow.
Oh, that would.
'Cause
be
I'm
a
sure
really
that'd be an
great show
interesting
if she could-
conversation.
If she could get Matt,
right?
she would love that. I'm sure.
He has to get some eye. We need to get him some eye job.
We need
because-
to. We need to get a hold of the mayor and have him introduce you because he's been on there like 3 times now.
Oh my God, he has.
Yeah.
He's everywhere.
Greg.
Come on, Greg.
Clayton needs
well,
an intro.
I'm sure I'll see him at AIDS Walk.
Yeah.
I'll probably
Oh,
see
that's
Greg
good.
That could be.
standing. I'll just say, hey, listen.
Or
come here,
I
Greg.
could go home
Talk
and
to
get, Amy Klobuchar to get you.
That's fine too.
She's a fan of the Klobuchar.
Anytime we can get an intro to Maddow.
I think Al Franken would be a little more difficult, but maybe Klobuchar.
Probably so.
Oh, did you see Al
She's
Franken a couple
brilliant.
weeks ago on Bill Maher when Bill Maher was
haven't
like,
seen it yet.
"Thank you for being funny again." He's like, "Yeah, I felt like the first 6 years I wasn't allowed to be funny."
No,
Yeah.
he wasn't.
But now I can.
Have you? Jenny had talked about it, and I haven't told you this yet, Jenny. That I did the audiobook for
of Giant in the Senate.
Uh-huh. And we were talking about it right when it came out, and his voice is a little difficult to listen to, like, because I had to really turn up the volume because my mom, Yahoo
With all her
alerts.
Yahoo alerts.
Hey, did you hear? Yep. But anyway, so
On
when
it.
he's really loud in yours, he can be a lot like Al. But it really was a lot of what he talked about.
Yeah.
Was I was told, do not be funny.
Yeah, like,
Do not.
Because nobody was going to take him seriously.
Right.
Right.
Right. And it
Because if
wasn't
at any
until-
time he walked into onto the floor and says, "And gosh darn it, I'm good enough."
That's right.
Everybody, but no, you're out.
Smart enough.
yeah.
No, but I do
Yeah.
enjoy him. I enjoy him immensely. Well, him and not Diane Warren. What the fuck is her name?
Elizabeth
Edwards.
Warren.
Thank you, Elizabeth
Warren.
Warren. Maybe cousins.
Yep.
Hashtag nevertheless
I'm
she
like just
persisted.
throwing names out.
When
at
they're
that
when
point.
they're in a committee and they're asking somebody questions, they just both go at
Oh,
people.
the two of them.
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
I enjoy,
Yeah.
I enjoy that. Speaking
Very
of
much.
which, we before we parlay, even if we're going to go into that final segment, anybody's reaction with regards to the 10 hours of testimony on the dossier and the fact that it is looking like it's going to be made public.
Sure.
You know,
Oh, the peeing one?
yeah, but the
Yeah,
guy,
but
So
the
they-
whole thing.
They had a what they have the company that was contracted to come up with all of that, right?
right?
They had them in a closed door session, and now there's debate about whether to redact anything classified and then release the transcript of 10 hours worth of testimony. Orrin Hatch, of all people, said he would vote for
Right,
it.
Orrin Hatch
It's
said it.
fucking
And
coming out.
Grassley?
Grassley
And
said,
Grassley from
right,
Iowa,
and
yeah.
of course all the 9 Dems on there are going to say yes.
Yep.
But the company in a press, Grassley was at a presser somewhere.
So
whatever
kind
this
of
thing.
backstory the dossier for people that aren't paying attention.
The dossier is the one that came out where it said that he was Trump. They had evidence of Trump being peed on or something like that in a room in a hotel in Russia or in Moscow.
That was like the big story.
And there's
that
there's
they-
just a whole bunch of
yeah.
things that in this
That
dossier
he could be blackmailed
Right,
for.
Right.
And when it first came out, everybody's like, "There's no way this is real." And then as they started investigating stuff, a lot of it has actually panned out as legitimate. Like they can find everything, and then all of a sudden, this company comes out that was behind it, and they're like, "It's literally your roadmap to this investigation." And they're like, "Okay." So then they go and they testify about all this under a closed session, and it came out that Grassley was at a constituent meeting, whatever town hall in some county, wherever the hell he was, and some guy who Rachel said was her new boyfriend.
That made me
because
laugh.
he kept pressing Grassley, "Will you let him release it?" And Grassley's like, "I have no problem with it. We'll see what they say." Then that statement got out, and the company came back and said, "Release it. It's fine. We stand by it. There's no reason not to.
Yeah, wow.
It's your testimony anyway. Like it's your committees. You do what you want." And then, yeah, like I said, when Grassley and Orrin Hatch said, "Sure," like woo.
Because it's not about whether or not he got peed on. The fact is, did they have things that they could use
Compromise him, Yep.
to
Right.
maneuver him?
The
compromise
reason
him.
we all think of P-tape and dossier is because of number one, BuzzFeed, and number 2, our fascination with everything just porn.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right. So
I don't
the
wanna see it. I don't think I wanna
the
see
dossier came from an MI6 agent named Christopher Steele, who was working with this company, and it was. I know it sounds like a Bond villain.
Yeah.
Or like he should be on Archer.
It really does sound
Yeah.
like James Bond.
No, it
that
really
MI6
does.
had
Right.
sent this guy in to investigate.
And so they were shopping this around to government officials, and like John McCain got a hold of an early copy of it. They sent it to the FBI, and then BuzzFeed got a hold of it, as well as CNN. They sent it to a couple of news organizations as well. But BuzzFeed went publish and just put it all out
Sure.
there, which is how we ever heard about it in the first place. But it was already moving through.
Trying
these
to
different circles.
find the light
Right.
of day.
And opposition research isn't uncommon in politics. Like that's what you
But
do.
this
to find out
wasn't
the dirt on
truly
the other guy.
opposition research. This was like some kind of nefarious business ties with Britain,
There's
right? That's
all
why the
kinds- there's
MI6
all
was
kinds of
involved.
crazy shit.
Yeah, I mean, I was just trying to find the
Like, connect all
smoke
the dots.
trail back to Emma. Like, how were they involved?
And really, Maddow is my in for the Russia and
Yeah.
the dossier and like all of that. Like Maddow's the
How far behind
my
are you
tour
on her?
guide. What's today? Tuesday. So I haven't heard.
Did you hear last night's?
And sometimes I get behind and I delete. So I did not listen to last night yet.
Well, the last night was when she's like, "Remember all this chatter about the servers and why coincidentally," she went to like 4 or 5 banks that coincidentally had all of these connections and they weren't sure why and they did. Well, now there's a 4th or 5th one that dropped, and like now it's completely with emails about as soon as our boy wins, we'll make this happen. About the tower in Moscow.
I've seen some headlines on that,
Yeah.
and I haven't read
Yeah,
them yet.
listen to what she said about that, because or we could watch it, depending, because I have it from yesterday too. But it was interesting because when that shoe dropped, they're like, okay, now we have like it's just more. And
Yeah.
and she said that this specific thing was really the thing that Trump is all freaked out about the fact that Mueller can go back and look at business dealings. They're all saying that that's the business deal he's talking about because Trump had signed contracts of intent mid last summer. Like when he's saying we have no connections, we've stayed away. You just inked a deal. Like you literally just did it.
So he was betting on winning and losing at the same time. That was the takeaway from today's news cycle. Was that he thought he was going to lose. Thought he was going to lose, so he was going to keep that Russia deal alive, thinking that was, you know what I mean? Like, and it's just, it's one of those things that it's too stupid to believe it's true. You know what I mean? Like when you watch this,
but it's starting to look
like when you watch
like
Fargo, like okay, how did these assholes try to be the mastermind criminals? Like, and that's what you think. Like, how did this group of just clowns?
Because we weren't looking.
Not win, but how did they think they were going to get away with? Like, how did they think they were going to leave this giant paper trail? Emails, and they were doing it like blatantly.
That's just hubris.
That is exactly what it is. Nice word.
Hubris.
Well done.
I've been reading.
Frigarita.
Yeah.
All right, let's go do something else.
Or are we done? Do you have a question, Mark?
Thoughtful? Anybody thoughtful?
Nope. I mean, I do, but I don't think that it's necessary.
Go ahead. We'll do it.
It's totally necessary. Let's do it. I want to answer a question.
We got to do it.
I don't think it's necessary.
I want to answer a question.
We're early.
We won't do the big intro. We'll just do this. How about this? We'll just do the music, and you just
very lovely.
We'll slide you in there. Wow.
So if you could, with things that are going on right now in the world, whether it be in Houston or in Texas, in Washington D.C., Nairobi, wherever, if you could become one person to make changes, who would you become?
Oh.
Like, are we talking possess their body and
like
change their actions?
To be able to, yeah, fine. Yeah, to be
Are we talking
able
about a person or a position? Like you being the leader of X, or I mean, you're not saying be a
right. Am I gonna like quantum leap and become Sean Spicer?
Well, no, because like everybody would, I would
accomplish?
think, just want to become Trump so that we could commit suicide. But if you know,
or just speaking a little truth, you know what I mean?
Like, well, or do something. But I just say it's going to turn bad again.
Give him
at
morals
some point.
and
something.
That would be the day that Trump became president. Why, by God.
By God.
All of a sudden, he's off script and presidential.
And
what
what's
the
happening?
hell?
I don't know what's happening.
So, and like Aaron says, Superman.
Yeah.
And, you know, I love that. So it doesn't have to be
because you all and Ann says God because just because you think you got this problem and we like somehow can prepare for 50 inches of rain, but then again, if someone told you, well, we have to make this building cost $1 billion so it can withstand 50 inches of rain, you'd be like, really?
Right.
50? But now we know that's possible. You know. I don't know. I guess it would be. You're kind of in a catch-22 because the minute you make something more important than something else, then all of a sudden, like, oh, you're ignoring Uganda, you're ignoring this.
Right.
You fix this one thing, but you left these people dead.
And how our actions can change the course for something else. I mean, where you not necessarily forgetting about it, but yeah.
I think I would do somebody completely useless, but try to make them like more useful, like the person at the UN that gets to speak to people from every fucking nation and be like, listen, bitches, pencils down. You got some fucked up shit going on in your countries, and we're going one by one.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we're gonna go down the road. Okay.
But I think I would like take over the UN and make that a real deal and be like, listen, people, we're starting at A, we're working our way all the way down to Volkvistan or whatever the fuck it's called.
Whatever stand, some stand.
Whatever stand.
Right.
I like it.
Wigger wagon. You know what I mean?
Mine would be, and I go back to one of the things that Kat drives home all the time is, you know, you start local, think local, start from there. I would want to be, maybe this is a little grandiose in the thought, I would want to be somebody who was replicated and infiltrated all of the small towns and all the little local governments and start with trying to permeate them with morality and honesty to start at that level, because it all starts from local. So if you could get them to clean up their shit, eventually that's going to rise to the top.
So you're like the Borg of city councils.
Yeah.
The chat room people will get it.
But you well, and Aaron will too, because it's something space, I'm sure. Because I've heard of Borg before.
Yeah, because they're like a collective. Anyway.
So, but I would be a person, not just the one person, but like it would be like a little army that would all just go out and be like a morality army that would go in and just infiltrate all the little local city governments and get them to. Let's all be honest. Let's all, don't try to favor, because you've got something of that. Let's not favor anything. Let's just legitimately facts. Look at it. How much is it going to cost? No pork in in your bills and all. That's still what drives me crazy. I want them to vote. A lot of stuff needs to be line item voted. I don't think they need to group it all together.
Right.
But which is exactly why, like they were saying that the Superstorm Sandy stuff got, because there was all this pork in it. No, there was a lot of money for disasters that happened legitimately because of it, or they were trying to fix stuff that had happened previously. Anyway, just trying to figure out honesty and morality to come up through the ranks of local governments in an effort to try to get it to go all the way to the top.
I like it. Well, if we're going to play Quantum Leap, I'm going to leap right into Betsy DeVos.
Oh, yeah.
Because
something I never thought I'd hear another woman say.
Yeah.
or man.
Or
really.
a human being, yeah.
Nutrisystem.
Oh my.
Been there, done that.
It's terrible stuff. Anyway, because I really do think that a lot of the things that we're seeing right now and the things that we're shocked about, like this is a thing and this is happening, I can't believe this is happening, is because of a decreasingly educated populace. Like we don't value our education. We don't strive for our education. And this is ironic coming from, Dropout City over here, but you know what I mean? Like
but you get there in your own way.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Right, and we don't value information and education and understanding anymore. So if I had to just pick one person to kind of quantum leap into and try to make a difference in the world, I think that would be one of them, because then I would dramatically change positions and I would be on every television show that would ever have me every single day talking about why our education is important and why we need to lobby for more education and more just universal free. Let's educate our people so that our people can do better things.
Civics lessons at every turn.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Sure. I like that.
Ryer,
I like that.
What would you do?
I'm a very good question answerer. Thank you.
Yeah.
Question answer.
Well, I would make the best chili at the cook. No, I'm kidding.
I'd only one.
There may be a chili recipe in this Nutrisystem.
They do have. They have a black bean chili.
I love
they
it.
actually do, and a couple of those things are good.
The price on this has been slashed.
I'm gonna win.
I've got some snacks you're welcome to take home from them.
I'm apparently quantum leaping back to 2004. Chili cook-off. It wasn't 2004. Anyway.
I don't think we had one that year.
I know.
These fucking things are deadly, and there's 19 pounds of them.
I know it. I would, right now, with circumstances where they are, just want to be someone very rich that has a very big boat, so I can go in and get a shit ton of people and bring them back out.
Yeah,
to
like
safety.
where's the Trump family with all their money?
I know it.
Right.
But
they don't give it to other people.
No, right. That's very important.
There's
They do
a thing
not
that was on
donate.
the news about just a line of trucks and boats.
I like that they call them
Very nice.
the Cajun Army. All the people that came from Louisiana, they're like, Texas helps us when we're screwed.
Isn't
we're
that
coming
great?
to help them.
Oh,
and they just
yeah.
showed
It just
up
renews your
with
faith.
flatboats
Yeah.
and
It just
airboats
renews
to
your
do all
faith in
that.
humanity.
Also, a line of trucks and supplies from Mexico came
Oh,
in.
absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and before
True.
Joel Osteen
That's right.
opened
You're
up
right.
his churches, the mosques
Mosques,
were open.
yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
Oh,
it
and
just,
so I guess Joel Osteen was on CNN tonight getting interviewed, and I guess it did not go well.
Oh,
so.
I'm excited. Hang on.
Yep.
Gonna look for that in a minute.
Who was interviewing him?
I don't know.
Oh, I hope it's Anderson, because he'll have to
right.
wear a tight shirt and because he's going to be angry. Not that I want him in a tight shirt. I just hope that he's in tight, because he gets, the more intense the story is, he starts with a flak jacket, and then, by the time we're done, he's in pasties and a.
Well, and I think that with things that are with things that are going on there, when we kind of clump people, and when I shouldn't say we, when I kind of clump people, and you pick out the interesting stories that have, stereotypes.
Yeah.
Right? And you do this and that. And then you have people being interviewed and just you see we are all the same. We're all the same. And there's all this kind of this terrible shit's going on right now. But you're watching everybody kind of coming together and doing whatever they can to save each other, to help each other, animals, and people.
There's a moment when you're listening to Weather Channel porn or CNN or wherever station you're on or MSNBC, and you hear the actual call go out, anyone with a boat, please.
Or high water vehicle or any of that stuff. Right. Just go.
Well, I mean, they passed high water vehicles. They were just boats. Like, we can't rescue another truck. Because the one guy on the Weather Channel was on a flatbed high...
Like a wrecker?
Like, yeah. And they got stuck. They had to back out and, like, leave somebody. They were going to get somebody. They're like...
Well, in some areas, it's not...
Right. But that's what they said. Like, that was him saying... It's time for boats. Like, this is as big as this gets.
Even
and
a canoe. Show up with a canoe and paddle.
And that's they were kayaks, canoes.
Everything.
It was astounding to see.
Because with that, the kayak or canoe, like you can take in some water, or you can.
I saw a kitty.
Yeah, because he was a little bit smarmy at first, being on the back of that flatbed truck, and then when they got stuck, he was like, "Oh, we're boats." Like he really thought he was.
They showed a kiddie pool today with a bunch
reporter.
of puppies in it. A kiddie pool that they were just because it would float with no water in it, and then they just dogs were just in it, like they're just dragging it. The guy's walking nipples deep in water.
You got to make do with anything.
And I have to tell you, this scares the shit out of me. Like that idea of being in a situation like that, and just thinking caution to the wind. Like we have to go save people.
I can't imagine
water moccasins. They have
crocodiles.
Floating ants. I don't know if you've seen
that. Right, the fire ants are grouped together and. Which the scientists are studying because they're trying to understand what makes them do. They create this.
Because they're impervious. Like you can't crush that little mass of ants. We could go on the fire.
But I mean,
I
think that's amazing.
I couldn't have any kind of thinking.
I couldn't. I could not step into that water.
Yeah, I can't get in the lake anymore because I can't see.
Right, and I because of all the people that have that thing that I don't understand when they're with the ocean and the lakes, and I'm always like, shut the fuck up, get in the water. The minute I see flood water, I'm like, there's shit from people's drains floating in that.
Oh, there's sewer. Everything's in it.
Sewer has backed up. There are animals. There are dead things.
Your survival instinct blocks out a lot lot for you though. Like if it was that or sit in your house and drown,
water moccasin
your
kind
happy
of
ass
takes
would be
me
out of there too.
Yeah, I think so. But I watched that with
What if we could do it with a boombox and a good soundtrack?
Yeah, then
if Donna Summer's playing.
Also about the snakes and stuff.
Was that a lie? Was that
no? They're out there and there are poisonous snakes, but those snakes are freaking the fuck out too, and they're just like they're doing the exact same thing you are. They're trying to get the fuck out of there.
They're trying to get on CNN.
Right. Yeah. They're trying to get Rachel Maddow to notice them.
Yeah.
They have a sign language person in the corner telling the story.
No, seriously, like those usually dangerous animals in this kind of a situation, unless you go out of your way to harass them, they're doing the same thing that you are.
Oh, yeah.
They're trying to get the hell out of there. They're trying to survive.
Like any wild animal that can swim is swimming to safety, not swimming to eat.
Most snakes can swim, and most of them don't prefer it. So when you do run into snakes in the water, most of the time, there's some that like
they're on their way somewhere.
But most of the time, they're just trying to get the hell out.
Mm-hmm.
But you're in like alligators and like
water
you are
moccasins. Fuck that.
Yeah.
I mean it takes me to a whole new. Just because of my fear. Some people have the clowns.
No, mine is.
But mine is like
mine is flooding. Like that scares the shit out of me because that's just when I don't like anything wet. I like everything dry. Like I like Arizona. I don't like that my towel's not dry in 10 seconds.
Talked about like humidity.
Yeah, I don't like any of that shit, and the fact that nothing will ever be dry. Right. Like nothing in that area is ever gonna dry.
Right.
That couch is always gonna smell funky no matter what happened. I don't know.
Well,
and the loss is just unfathomable.
Yeah.
To lose every single thing.
Everything. Well, one of the other things that we were saying were people, we're reminding people, do not get in the attic of your house unless you've got an axe in your hand.
Yeah, to break out.
To get out. Because if that water rises, you're fucked.
Yeah, you're just going to drown in a smaller space.
Right, exactly.
Right. Now you're in a smaller pool, still drowning.
But
and nobody can see you. Nobody can find you.
It wasn't until
We didn't know that till
till
Katrina.
You can't, yeah, and it wasn't until somebody said something I had forgotten. Like you said, you just kind of put it out of your mind. I had forgotten about all that, and then someone, oh Jesus, this hurts my head. I think it was Ted Cruz. Ugh. Anyway, but it was Ted Cruz who said, "Don't go in the attic. Whatever you do, just don't." And it was kind of
Get on the roof.
Because that's where they found so many bodies.
He
Yeah.
was like, just don't, out of nowhere, just kind of yelled that. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And then he went through. He's like, unless you have an axe or you have somewhere to get out. And I thought, whoa. My God.
yeah,
so
nuts.
it's scary. And you have, the other interesting piece as far as people coming together and whatnot. You have that son of a bitch that had to be shamed with all of that space.
Right.
With all of that space. And then this Jim McIngvale, I think. I'm probably mispronouncing, but the gentleman who has the mattress store.
Oh, the furniture store.
Oh, the furniture store guy. That was a beautiful story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I teared up during
His
that
entire
one.
showroom is just home, like everything.
Yep.
And two of them. Isn't he a chain? He has two stores.
I think you are right.
He has two stores, and he opened up a furniture store to people to come in and use his furniture.
Be on a couch. Be on a.
Right.
It doesn't matter wherever you can find space. And
that's genius. That is the kindness and morality we're looking for. That he just opened his doors. Like that's what's needed.
Yep. So, shout out to him. Well done.
And you got a month.
Fing fang.
You got 28 days to read Lincoln in the Bardo. Get on it. It's lovely.
And I have to figure out who Belena is.
It's someone on the ship that you're going on.
I'm not sure what that looks like.
Be Elena.
Yeah. So
they even provided you with a pun. They have space.
Oh, I know. I thought that was fantastic. I appreciate you. Don't encourage her.
Don't encourage her.
It's fantastic.
Well, we've covered a lot of water stories. Hopefully next week will be less water and more joyous when we cover the news and current topics. My heaven's sakes. Thanks again to everybody in the chat room. Nero and Aaron from LA, and Tomo was there for a while. Jenny, Joe D, my mom. So many people were there.
The
All
Menti.
exciting. Yes. Menti and ongoing.
Love it.
As we wrap up tonight's show, let's leave you with this parting thought. We will see you next Tuesday!